Welcome back to the night shift, ladies and gentlemen. We've got Jason Kaplan, ZP, and some fantastic art on the show. Kaplan, you did a little segment earlier today. For those who missed it in the first half, what was it?
Yeah, fan art spotlight, man. I was scourging through Reddit, finding some sweet art pieces that we've had submitted over there, and there were some great things to show off. I mean, we're all about the community. We're all about supporting the community, supporting the pro players. And Pucka, you're even sporting one of the sick ones we've had posted over on Reddit with a very angry and short Billy. I don't know if we can get that one on full screen for you guys to see at home, but some great artwork. You guys can submit it over at Deadlock Night Shift on our Twitter, or even just go put it up on Reddit. Maybe I'll find it next week.
Yeah, shout out to the artist. ZP, you are the tournament director, art wizard behind the scene who drew up this competition. So what do you got for me in our grand finals tonight?
Well, what we have in the grand finals, it's Melee Creeps versus Bunny with Clock. Melee Creeps, the number one in NA nowadays, especially Sneaky Golem, missing a week or two here and there. They are the team to beat. And as much as Bunny with Clock looked unstoppable in the previous matchup, the tables could be turned here against Melee Creeps, where you talk about a team right now that has top-in-class mechanical skill, really deep hero pools. I mean, we've seen teams try to ban out John, and you can't do it anymore. Like, he will eventually crush you in the same way that my phone alarm nearly crushed me in just a moment.
No,
can I say something, by the way, about Sneaky Golem? I don't know if you knew, ZP.
Yes.
Or if people knew. Rokane apparently left the team.
You
did not know that part.
They have a new player. It's Zeno.
I mean, it makes sense.
Apparently,
Zeno's
AVG was talking about it as a stream.
I mean, Zeno's super mechanically skilled, and also, I mean, short term, you're getting probably top 3 Yamato players in the game in Zeno, in a meta that's pretty good for Yamato. So, I mean, it makes sense. But wow, yeah. I mean, the player change-ups are kind of going crazy across all regions right now, is what I'll say.
Yeah. But take a look here at Melee Creeps. As you said before, like John, his Bebop last week was fantastic. It was really hard to stop him from just being so dominating. But this whole team has been kind of ridiculous as of late. We even got to talk to Scout on the Graveyard Shift over on Monday. If you guys missed out on that, you can go check out the VOD. If you're a Patreon pledger, YouTube member, a Twitch subscriber, or if you just want to, PayPal me, $5, I'll give you a link as well to check it out. But this team has been the epitome of strong in North America. Don't worry, I'll send you half as Puckett. And we haven't seen any signs of stopping them just yet.
CP.
Oh, you said Puckett there. I thought I was like waiting for, the Puckett response.
No, I just didn't know if you were ready for this. Are you ready?
What am I ready for?
I'm ready.
You want to see what I've been building? What you got?
I think if ZP sees it, he's gonna turn blue.
Oh, he might turn blue. He might blue himself.
Well, I see Vindicta in your background right now. That's what I'm seeing.
I don't know who that is. There's only one way I can identify who that is.
No, it's fine. You the hair braid.
You're lucked out. Solomon won't let me zoom in.
Oh.
There's a foot situation going on down here. In the meantime, we've got to get to this game, right? Because it doesn't take more than 35 minutes to draft.
Just drag the image up, Puckett, on your OBS.
It's not working.
It's not working?
Because of the virtual NVIDIA broadcast tools. And then I tried to just zoom in purely on the feet, and it just didn't work out. And maybe if we just point the glasses at, do you guys know? It's not working.
A little higher. I see it. Hey, I recognize those feet anywhere.
All right. Congratulations, everybody. You made it. All right, let's get into the game.
Get us the draft.
My friends, Jason Kaplan and ZP. And the first thing that you're going to see banned is going to be a Viper. Why? Viper terrifies North American.
I was with you for a bit of that, but we're not going to see the Viper ban.
No?
God willing, you should, especially with certain people in chat. But what I'm curious here is, do you get the Bebop respect ban? Do you look at Melee Creeps and go, we fear you, John. No Bebop. And what you say is, no, we actually fear Shiv. We fear the meta. We don't want to deal with the Shiv here today.
Makes sense.
Only way to get Puckett to smile that big is showing blue, beautiful feet. It's true. It's true. It is a little bit of esports lore if you guys didn't know about Puckett. But yeah, the shit ban coming through. I'm not really too surprised, AP, to not see a Vindicta ban. I think Melee Creeps are in general a good enough team to play around a Vindicta if it gets picked up for BWC. But see, maybe no direct ban on like Bebop or maybe the way Sneaky Golem's approach last week was taking away a lot of comfort heroes from John and forced one something he's not as comfortable on, though it didn't really matter in the end.
So for Melee Creeps, here's my question going in here. You know, what are they going to highly value? You know, realistically, they could just come in and pick off like Holiday +1. If you feel like Bebop's going to get messed with in terms of picks from Bunny with Clock, you could pick the Bebop in the first two. I think for Melee Creeps, they may be more willing to, you know, risk that, you know, going a little bit more. But okay, they do Yamato. I mean, Yamato Holiday would not be a bad start at all here, especially with Paradox off the board and the fact that teams are very willing right now to pick both Paradox and Holiday, which, well, for Melee Creeps are actually totally fine with Bebop. So there's a lot of ways this can. What is going on with my background?
What is that messy place? Mr. Pocket, you have some explaining to do. What's that in the background, sir?
Oh, that was just my mansion.
How long have you been living with this new place?
6 months.
Okay, to be fair, better question is, how often have you been home since you moved into the new place?
I've worked all but 2 weekends this year. It's
there you go.
Time.
Now it makes sense.
Is your wife aware about the state of the room? Is the real
not allowed
question.
to come downstairs. No, that would break our marriage.
I imagine on his door, he has like no wives allowed, you know, handwritten on a piece of paper, like stuck to the door. No girls allowed inside here.
Duct
only
tape.
his daughter.
It's about to get sticky.
Oh, now it's getting sticky. All right, we got Mina, Paradox, the Vithkith. We got Shiv on the sideline, Kelvin on the sideline. North America, it's time to get weird. What do we bring out here? I bet it's gonna be.
You have to go Bebop. You actually have to go Bebop. Like,
Why?
if you don't go
the Grabby Boy right now.
Oh, actually, they have the Holiday. Never mind. They don't have to go. For some reason, in my head, I've lost my mind on talking about your man cave, and it just like, wait, yeah, because they had Holiday.
See my dirty room, ZP?
No, I'm good. No, I'm good.
I have to admit, okay. I spend way more time thinking about Puckett's man cave than I like to admit.
Look, they had the Holiday. They didn't need the Bebop here. They could still pick the Bebop, though, later on. So, you know, the band coming in from Bunny with Clock here will be interesting. I'll also say they probably picked the early Viscous purely for Gibbs.
They also, I mean, Melee Creeps banned away Geist, so now you're kind of limiting what John would normally play. Maybe trying to bait the ban onto Bebop here, because we did see John play Holiday not too long ago, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, you know,
so there's definitely a possibility. So they go with Paige. Okay, so it does leave Bebop open for Melee Creeps if they want to go for it.
Yeah, I mean, Melee Creeps have multiple
not the Isaac.
play.
Oh my god, this is so creepy, ZP.
I love AI. Solomon, I will pay $50 to fast forward this portion of the show.
Oh my god, the bribery coming in.
Maurice and I got your back.
I mean, he can display the whole draft at once, I think. Easiest
At this
$50
point,
of his
yes.
life.
Well, technically,
take the bait.
Puckett didn't qualify how much quicker the draft would have to be. Like, it could be quicker by 1 second.
Did you see? No, he made the timer even longer. Damn you, Puckett.
Oh my god.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, take a quick snooze here. We'll wake you up when the next picks come through in about 5 minutes and 26 seconds.
Is this a show of integrity by Solomon of going like, not only can you not bribe me, like I reject your bribe with.
I think this is Solomon saying, you can't tell me what to do, Puckett.
He's
You
saying,
my
can
boss.
stay here as long as I do. I'm cool with it. I don't work tomorrow.
Christopher Puckett, award-winning host. Know your place. You're not the production master. Oh no,
Oh, is it going faster now?
I don't think.
I can't tell. It was so slow before. I can't tell if it's going faster or if this is normal speed now. I'm too accustomed and acclimated to the 5.5 minute
Why are
pick
the hiccups
timer.
back?
Oh no.
Abrams keeps coming.
Oh god.
Okay, the draft is back to normal speed.
No, I think this is even faster. This has to be. This is like 15 seconds. Not even. This is like 10 seconds.
Oh, something along those lines.
I like it.
No more hiding.
So Mo and Krill for Melee Creeps. And then we see Bunny with Clock respond with Pocket and Abrams. I'm kind of curious. What is Aiden going to be playing at the moment? Because again, he could play Mina, but so can Pashi. And I think
feel like
Pashi can play pocket too. I don't think Pashi is the pocket player for Bunny, if I'm not mistaken.
I thought we saw Aiden on pocket at one point.
I can tell you.
Yeah, if you want to double check, I'm like really sure we saw Aiden on pocket, so maybe it won't be a Vindicta coming in. I don't know. Why is this happening today? Why are the hiccups just...
Sure. Yeah, let me tell you 1 second.
ZP, you got another
my little
diagram?
database.
We can fix this.
Mina Vindicta.
You know what? I need a fresh one.
He's played Mina and Vindicta and Grey Talon. Oh my god,
right.
Crack open a cold one.
ZP has been fixed.
Chug,
Dr.
chug,
Puckett.
chug, chug,
Dr.
chug,
Puckett.
chug, 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 chug.
We don't know why it works. We just know it does.
All right. Hopefully it's fixed.
You're welcome.
Also, Mirage, what in God's name? He's alive.
Pop for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, so Aiden's probably on the pocket then.
No, he's on Mina. He's only played Mina, Vindicta, and Grey Talon so far. So I think he's gonna be. I think maybe Grey Talon's bugged on my side.
No, it could be Mina then. But I swear. Either way.
We got
This
a
will
lot
be
to
interesting.
think through. I got good news, everybody. You made it to the North American Grand Final Game 1. This is Melee Creeps versus Bunny with Clock, aka BWC, aka Jason Kaplan's favorite abbreviation of all time. Why? Because it's got a viscous. It's going to get sticky icky. We got a Dracula chick named Mina, a paradoxical person in a pocket. What more could you ask for? Taking on the Melee Creeps. We got a door guy, someone with a giant ass owl, and then a burrower. Let's get into the game, ZP.
Well, we're in game here, Jason, and also it's Pashi on the pocket. It is the Arctic on the Mirage, and you know the chugging did not work here this time, but I'll take.
You
my,
just turned into a dog toy. That's amazing.
I got no response here, but Jason, look at the lanes. Once more, we got a Holiday Yamato lane that is already cleaning house in the middle.
So I don't know if I'm lagging or if you're just hiccuping sometimes. I can't take it seriously. Yeah, we do have Holiday Yamato. That's going to be a very, I mean, up against a Mina as well for Aiden. That's going to be some relatively easy poke. And I mean, you're already squishy enough as it is as Mina, but to deal with the damage from Fish Cake too is going to be very hard. Not to mention you have Ido and Grey Talon. Like, this is going to be very cool to see because again, he's a insanely talented player. He's not going to have, I guess, much kill potential on that left-hand lane since there's no one really squishy. But when we get into like the later parts of these fights, I mean, Mina Aiden's going to be a prime target. Not to mention Pashi Pop because Grey Talon just destroys the pocket with the negative spirit resist he has. Or they have.
Also, in recent times, GT has had like a shockingly high win rate overall. Look, man, you're going to have to endure it. It will go away, I swear. But yeah, GT's win rate has been extremely high in the last few weeks when he has been played, and it does make me wonder if GT has been undervalued somewhat just because of the general impact GT is going to have on the game when you get Owl, both in terms of setting up like even 1 or 2 good team fights, and then also the fact that later in the game just being able to push a wave with Owl is huge, and about as huge as that parry, not successful, and a little bit of damage here on the doorman.
Chat, save my ZP. We need some home remedies for the hiccups right now. What was the best way to get rid of hiccups for you growing up? Put it in the chat. ZP, somebody said put your head upside down. Can you try and cast upside down for a minute?
I will break my neck. Do I look like someone that's that agile?
I think you got strong core.
Well, you'd think wrong. Jason, what are you looking at here right now as I hold my breath?
I was just trying to visually imagine you upside down casting and thinking about how much that hurts my head trying to do that. And then I know you could do it. I believe in you. You know, just like Puckett, I believe in you, ZP.
See, this is me holding my breath. Yeah, I was still. But okay, let's talk about what we're seeing right now.
A whole bag of trolley gummy worms helps with hiccups if you can eat an entire bag in a 5-minute window. That's why Puckett's never had hiccups on air ever.
You know, right now they're not sponsoring us. I just want to be knowing that. Like, you know, I'm just saying.
I still got like 10 bags left, so in my head, I'm still sponsored until I finish those bags.
Oh, that's because Italy delayed your bags from getting there for like 4 weeks.
Yeah. Oh well. They'll be my delicious treat for the next few weeks here, as we do see maybe a delicious treat being served up here for melee creeps on this right-hand side, able to push them extremely far back under tower. And Cool Cheese gonna be the first death of the game, I believe, getting pushed on the mid lane tower with this Holiday and this Yamato lane. I mean, that Guardian's gonna fall below half HP relatively quick, and you can already see Aiden being forced to respect this as well. He's below half health. And so far,
Also,
now, I mean, go on.
No, this is incredibly bad lane-wise too. Is that the one thing when you run a Mina lane, the Mina lane needs to win or at least be neutral. Otherwise, like, your gameplay flow for Mina is not where you want. Like, ideally, you go from early lane phase in Mina, and then you can start being a bully. Like, you get like maybe 2k ahead, you walk up, you love bites, you kill people with rage. If you're a poor Mina, you do nothing. You do absolutely nothing. So it's a really tough start for Bunny with Clock, and oh, the parry just makes things all the more worse.
He survives though, and might be able to force it back. Pop looking for the kill, and they're going to get it on to Scout. So, I mean, the parry kind of indirectly baited Scout into a bad position. Bunny with Clock able to get a kill back for themselves. The charge and land on the side once again. He does go for the parry right away, baiting out a melee from Tanner. Scout should be falling as a great little cube comes through, but the bird to follow up, it takes down Gibbs, and now Tanner is in enemy territory looking for the jump pad, but look at that Ido knew he's gonna go that direction, puts a trap down and prevents him from escaping.
That's a long seismic slam hold by Tanner at the very end. Still lower in HP, not enough to actually go for it and get a little bit more off the connection. Yeah, overall, pretty back and forth between both sides. Melee creeps a little bit ahead and potentially about to be a lot ahead if they can clean up here on middle. But John getting forced back. Shout transformation coming out in from Fish Cake to buy a little bit more space here. But right now, if you are Bunny with Clock, the last thing you want is for your mid lane to go to the wayside. But Arctic, able to find Scout, evening things out a little bit.
Honestly, a lot of farm being given over to Pop in particular at 5.4 thousand souls. This right hand side able to clean up yet again. Does lose on an Arctic, but still gets the kills and wins the exchange in a 2-for-1. Fridge. That is a fantastic name. Can't show you Sinclair, but we can show you some love on the cast.
CP, I got some homemade solutions from chat. Are you ready for these?
I am, but I just used one and I think it worked. The fill your lungs completely, I think was the one. Like, I haven't hiccuped since then. Like, that trick may have been it. Not that the O's could have worked as, okay, Ido's in danger. Ido's getting chased by the goo.
No chugging ginger ale while doing a bong rip was needed. Got it. Sorry, keep going.
No. What in the world? Also, in terms of escapes, Ido actually lives to the zip line. Power slash, gonna miss. And middle is stabilized here, Jason, for Bunny with Clock. Was looking like a quick middle Guardian giveaway for now. They're hanging on, although as I say that, it may be hitting the end.
Good old Caster's Curse there coming through, right?
Yeah.
When they get the Guardian, they don't get any more kills off of that. And with the first Guardian now down, it does free up potentially John, or even technically Fish Cake to go roam around the map here. I would imagine John would be the one left to farm. This is normally one of the big players they want to get farmed up, and we know what a gun Holiday can do. And this right lane Guardian's already looking very juicy, below half HP. This guy's gonna be a little bit careful. I mean, he's already died, I believe, twice in this game, only at 5,000 souls, so he's starting to fall a little bit behind. And Pop getting, well, a little bit ahead at 7.3.
You know, it's interesting, the roaming thing. I think you still have the Holiday roam in this instance just because of her, pick potential. Okay, from above into the combo, and the Aiden in all sorts of trouble, but able to sanguine out. And was on fire the entire time. Just burned a little bit too much on the end.
A little bit of NBA jam action there. And we also do see like a full lane swap come through. I mean, look at this. We see Mo and Infernus head to the mid lane, sending Holiday and Yamato over towards the right. Oh, this owl. Oh, it crashed onto something else. I guess he messed it up, or maybe he had to cancel it because of Tanner right in his face.
Tanner back on signature Abrams here at this point, where again, you have someone in all caps in Tanner just shoulder charging. Everything there is on Brandon. Speaking of shoulder charging, Tanner going underneath the bridge.
Headed to Broadway.
Not quite converting into anything here just yet, but it is interesting the amount of space you have to give Abrams, when Abrams is playing around terrain and lane, just because if you do actually get hit by a clean charge, usually it's not going to end super well for you.
Yeah. Nice little micro thing here too is just all Saya giving over the centers over to Ido. Again, trying to get him farmed up and fed. The true selfless player of melee creeps here with Saya. Set up the door, and with 2 Gurns already down, I mean, it's up to melee creeps to only continue to put the pressure on. And Tanner now below half HP. Gets the reinforcements out of Cool Cheese to help out, or at least be in the vicinity to help out if needed. But we're still stuck to these like 2-2-2 lanes. I was expecting maybe melee creeps to go for rotation for this last garden and start to put the pressure on. The Paradoxical Swap comes in, catches outside, and he gets charged as well. 30 HP, and he forgot which way his door was taking him as he does go down.
It just wasn't a door that was going particularly far away. It's like, oh, door. Wait, I'm still dead out of the door. And 30 seconds before mid buffs are up and first earn. And, you know, the game is close enough here that a lot is going to be a contest for this very first earn. But if you're on the left side, it's turned into a 3-on-3. No swap up here from Cool Cheese was just used. Some of the initiate potential going to be a little bit lower. As an Owl getting express mail to Mina in the middle while this is going down. Aiden nearly falling as a result. Probably gonna have to go back and heal. Opens up Yamato for a little bit more free farm as we're getting sticky with it. Up and over as Scout can't quite get away.
As Puck would say, the good old sticky icky coming through. And going on the attack now. Gibbs going for the charge onto Ido. Tries to, I guess, parry a puddle punch that wasn't coming. And now he gets knocked back into his team, but the reinforcement's going to be here. Fishcake rejoins the party as the Q's being forced out now. DMB just trying to light the fire and put him to a blaze. And Gibbs should be dying. It's a great little turnaround. And Ido escaped with his life as well. So a very big pickup here out of melee creeps, looking to lengthen this lead up to now about 5k with the earn picked up.
Also, I think a door has already been put down. Like, you take a look, Saya was going over towards the earn turn and setup, and now you got Fishcake rotating over. So this is going to be a Doorman earn play coming up, which is a big part of the reason why you picked Doorman to begin with. So melee creep's about to take a big jump up here in all likelihood. Earn, done off the doors. Just the ridiculous power of Doorman right now for objectives cannot be overstated.
Just got to rename him to Earn Man at this point. Another Guardian taken for Bunny with Clock on the left side. To keep things at 2 apiece, though, I'll say that. They actually did end up losing their left lane one, so that is going to be a flex that unlocked for melee creeps. It's only the right lane Guardian left as the combo comes through, locking down Tanner. Mirage there to help reinforce this one, and Scout again being forced to back away. The punches continuing to come through with the heavy melees and the melee charge, but now Abrams is ticking away, and he's got to be careful. There's also an Owl coming in from long range out of Ido, who gets connection on a Pashi Pop.
The Owl's tilting the HP balance a little bit. Left side, though, still all sorts of dangerous. Bunny with Clock rotating around, looking for DMB. DMB, surrounded by blue on all sides, has one Doorman to help him out here. The swap, though, comes on in. DMB, and off the parry. No takers there on the melee, and looks like he's able to rotate out, get back to the Walker, and things are safe as now Bunny with Clock gonna look for a different rotation. And kind of tragic for Bunny with Clock, where you overinvest for the pick on the Infernus, and you end up losing right Walker instead.
Even with that, though, I'm surprised it's only like a 5k soul difference between the two teams. I mean, that Walker's a huge advantage. So credit to Bunny with Clock continuing to farm up here, and again, I guess prioritizing the jungle when they need to. But now Pashi going to be caught on the right-hand side, being forced to back away. I mean, to be fair, I'd be surprised to be caught out there, especially with that Walker already being taken down. Why would there be Fishcake and John there?
We got a lot of members of Bunny with Clock just hanging out between left and mid, where they could over rotate in the middle or left-hand side, depending. But right now, they're looking for picks here in middle. Leading the way is Tanner. Charge, ready to go. Finds Yamato, into the wall we go. 1 hit, 2 hits, multiple hits here, and no parries to be found. Meanwhile, guided Owl from Ido, looking to slow things down a little bit, enough to take down Paradox and put the rest in real danger.
And push on the left is happening while all this is going on as well. ZP, I mean, Pashi and Gibbs trying to take the Guardian. They will get it, and we'll get a flex slot unlocked, but at what cost? They should be losing a left lane Walker from this one. They should fall momentarily, and there's really no one here to back it up anyways, so that's gonna be another Walker take for melee creeps, continuing to take this map advantage away from Bunny with Clock. It's still only a 7k soul difference. It's gonna spike up to about 9k from this if they get it down. And
they're looking for some kills.
What to say
on the end, so you need to get something out of this. I mean, it's not great. No matter what, the trades aren't going to be in your favor. You get a few kills though, and you know, it sweetens the pot a little bit. But so far, Melee Creeps looking to be all sorts of squirrely here, able to head on out. The closest person you have down maybe is Mo. Scout looking super low, but oh, the cards! The luggage cart from Saya might have been enough to just clear out everyone. Scout potentially getting away here at no HP. I think it was hit with an affliction towards the end. Yeah, so that's affliction, not actually fatal damage coming on in. And okay, EMB gets caught at the end, but Scout actually gets away.
Yeah, I'd be fine losing one. Oh my gosh, 30 HP. Power slash not gonna connect, but did he just get a melee finish?
Yes, yes he did. The briefcase saved him from the power slash, only to be just tapped on the shoulder, you know, like the meme at the very end.
So let's take a look at the economy now, ZP, and see where things are really allocated as we kind of compare the last game to this one with Boston Tea Party. Fishcake at 15,000 souls, keeping relatively, you know, well with his team and pretty far ahead of a lot of opponents on the other side. Even with John now, 19,000 souls. He's like anywhere between 6 to 9K ahead of his opponents.
You know
Obviously,
what?
when he gets Glass Cannon, that's when things are really going to start to spike up for him. But like they have the economy in really good positions right now for melee creeps.
John, great minds think alike. This is when seeing everyone was swapping the headshot booster over Mystic Shot. All I could keep thinking of is that, you know, the velocity from high velocity rounds is probably going to give you more damage off just hitting more shots than what you're getting off headshot booster. And John is thinking the same thing. No headshot booster into high velocity rounds. So item build wise, I like how the holiday builds have evolved a little bit. Affliction though, directly in the Ido as he does the dash into the truck. But the lack of pressure otherwise means Ido just gets to roll back to base, slathered in frogs.
This urn, though, very important. Scout's trying to pick it up, but he's going to be caught out. This is going to be a comeback urn, too. This is a very important time for Bunny Clock to fight and to take this urn. I don't know if there's going to be any way to reinforce his left-hand side. The Owl's going to come through looking to catch, I thought, onto Gibbs to maybe dislodge it. But maybe a kill could come through off of this one. And maybe we could see a push onto the mid lane. Walker's DMB is going to be lingering on the turn-in to delay as much as possible. Or actually, no, he's going to teleport over. They want to go for a push on base Guardians?
We'll see. I mean, maybe they'll go mid Guardians. I think ideally, if you're melee creeps, you would like to get some pressure in on to the mid Walker. But right now, look at all the concern right now. Gibbs doesn't realize that it's free at the moment. Yeah, it's basically waiting for the rest of the team to give him the all clear, but they get in there. Tanner, a casualty of war. And yeah, I mean, here's the problem though for melee creeps. 95k, 90k, you really don't want to raw siege mid Walker. Mid boss is a much more attractive proposition, and that's what they're going for.
Well, no affliction, so they can be grouped up here and not be too worried. They have lasso, they have combustive combustion, they have quite a few tools. The door does get placed, Saya. Looking to facilitate any sort of counterplay. As we do see the counterplay come through, the ball comes rolling in, and so far all three Udrus have been taken by melee creeps, which should amount to a couple of kills as well, considering the overextension of Bunny with Clock. And I don't think I think maybe he hit one.
Yeah, he hit Furnace, but it only hit Paco was late to the party, man. You go in, it's like, wait a second, everyone's already left. All right, well, you got in Furnace. Great. Yeah, I mean, rough contest from Bunny with Clock. I mean, contesting versus Doorman Yamato is going to be cursed even with something like a Viscous backing you up, but man, oh man. Biggest advantage for melee creeps in the game so far, and they're gonna, this is what you use to actually pressure mid Walker and get it down without it turning into a disaster.
John 23,000 souls. I mean, Ido's actually one of like the weakest or poorest players on his team at 15k. So I know we've seen him being fed sinners in particular, and he still does a hell of a lot of siege damage from range, not to mention the control out of the Owl. And John with Glass Cannon, I don't know how many stacks he got in that excuse me, last fight. And Scout playing that poor like low eco build, Warpstone, Guardian Ward, Spirit Shielding, just trying to lock someone down quick enough, even upgrading to Divine Barrier, just so they can confirm it into a kill and transition to more. But with these buys coming through, you would imagine, like you said before, we should be seeing a push onto the mid lane Walker to use this rejuve to its maximum potential. And I think maybe they're looking to actually catch him off guard. If they go in towards middle, I think Sia's setting up for a door behind to surprise them with John and Scout. And Cold Cheese might be the one paying the ultimate price if
we need the Saya point of view. No, we see the setup on the Mo and the Holiday. I need to see Saya as Saya's like looking for the door. but okay, maybe they're backing off here. Okay, the ambush plan not being a thing, but that's actually scary how Doorman play has evolved. We're looking there and be like, yeah, we're just gonna have Saya just look to drop the tactical nuke door and have things go from there. That is a little bit unreal. But overall game state wise, I mean, Bunny with Clock, they're not out of it. You still have win conditions with either a really good affliction or a swap, even though right now you're basically stuck in a waiting period for Rejuve to go away. Like, you want to do a defensive mid walker, but other than that, you have to be really conservative with your jungle.
I mean, if you take away these sinners, you take away any camps from Bunny with Clock, it's still going to be a net positive for you. Though we can see that they're trying to come in around the backside, and there's actually a lot more people than they're expecting. Is Mirage to be the one cut out? Arctic looking to escape from the Baroness Hotel. The cart ready to throw him back into the team. And actually, instead, Sai pushes through and pushes out quite a few more players into the enemy side. And they get the initial kill it gives, but the affliction out of Posture Pop was relatively good.
Well, fight continues in earnest here. Bunny with Clock down one here so far. Fishcake in on the dive. Another two falling. Melee Creeps just able to roll forward, pick up extra kills off the initiation from the hotel guest. And now just you're killing the base guardians before you're hitting the walker. But okay, you got enough of the edge. You still got two rejuves. You head back, start getting some real damage here onto walker. Final walker's gonna go down. Get the extra flex slot on top of it, and the souls over it. So I mean, 30k soul lead. Well, a little bit under so far for Melee Creeps, and a true advantage in the game as you know, the rejuve is about to fade away.
And a very smart take here. Let the rejuve fading, get the urn, deny the potential turn in from Bunny with Clock. Comeback soul is going to be very important here. And honestly, I see a world where they actually just go for the urn turn in. I mean, you have 20 seconds of time. So if you want to die, you want to do it relatively soon before this fades away. But I think with a little bit of distraction, Gibbs has prevented the urn from actually being dunked at this point.
So rejuve is going away, but I definitely think, especially with Doorman, you have ways of getting this urn turn in relatively safely. But okay, not when Doorman gets caught. Doorman got hit by the swap on the other side. Bunny with Clock, best opportunity they're going to have potentially for the rest of the game. On a 6v5, can they get a little bit more? They're looking for DMB. DMB looking to run away, hits the jump pad, gets away. Now you're going to see the urn actually turned in by Melee Creeps, and the rest of Bunny with Clock, they're going to try and trade this for a walker if they can here, Jason, when you look at how they're positioned.
The walker, but not to mention we got a raid from Apply. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate it. Hope you had a good stream. 200 viewers coming in to the Deadlock night shift as we're underway with our championship North American match, currently at 0-0, but Melee Creeps with this lead of over 22k are looking to close out this first map in the series and go into map 2 to win a nice cool, what is it, $12.50 for themselves, just about that. All the donations go directly in towards our prize pool.
$12.50 and some change, minus PayPal fees, because PayPal still takes some fees, which is, you know, a little annoying. But boo! Yeah, we hate fees here on the night shift. But Lucky Shot gets built, and yeah, I mean, John is online, which, by the way, to me, this is the request of observers. Now that we have Nuclear Cannon Holiday, I demand the John point of view. We need to see Holiday 3-tap some people live and on camera, because this is the point where Holiday starts becoming server admin, especially when you have this sort of lead. It is John's game to lose at this point. Even goes all in, grabs a connect dash where, hey, the extra 25% at this point in the game when you're already doing so much may actually be worth.
Even give him the survival buff too. I don't think you're going to 1v1 him. 3,000 life and the amount of damage he has at 31,000 souls. Ain't no surviving. And if I was Aiden here, I wouldn't want to be Aiden. And we're actually seeing Bunny with Clock go for a catch onto Fishcake. I respect this. I like this play.
Yeah, the swap comes in. Yeah, you need to go for something here. However, Yamato, not the easiest of targets. Shadow Transformation gets out, and yeah, I love the logic there. It's like, you know, if I was Aiden, actually, I wouldn't like to be Aiden. It's actually awful where you go for a Nox Nostra versus a Gun Holiday, and you just die. You actually just die at that point. It is not a fun experience, nor is getting comboed into headshots from the Gun Holiday. Like, combo is normally pretty good, but you combine it with Gun Holiday, and it is not just death sentence, but death sentence long before the combo is over. It is absurd burst that Cool Cheese was on the receiving end of.
I really liked what Ido did in that fight too. He used the owl to cut off the wave, so there's no chance for them to go for a push on the walker, and also allows for sure Fishcake to escape. Good lasso came through, get a catch on a Apache Pop and Arctic. Well, you kind of just walked into a fight that you don't want to actually go to. And Aiden, it's just a matter of time. When he gets out of this hotel guest, you know he's going to be popped. And there it is. John closes it out. Another couple of kills and more stacks to his glass cannon, which honestly, I mean, it's supposed to be like a single shot, but with how fast he's shooting, man, it's like he's playing Viper right now.
Yeah, I mean, the fire rate has gone up. Also, by the way, Gun Holiday murders mid boss. Look at mid boss HP. But yeah, it's gone. It's actually just gone. Oh, Tanner, this is the worst place to be in. Is like, do I have to? Well, I guess. Like, you try and get at least one charge, but it is the suicide mission of suicide missions that you end up getting put on.
You should be happy about that, though, ZP, for seeing that happen at Tanner. It's kind of some closure about what happened in high school.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, it's, you know, you go from the jock in high school to, you know, the stereotype of you're really down on your luck and you're 40 still, you know, thinking about the times you're on your football team.
Perfect spot.
But
I didn't do football, but I did do cheerleading once in high school.
There you go.
Did they have powder puff at the high school you went to?
Wait, what?
So it's when the men cheerlead and the women play football.
I have never heard of that
powder puff.
before.
Yeah, I did cheerleading. It was fun. Split that V dot that I curl that CTORY. Victory. We're gonna win. Victory. Let's do it again. I don't know why I remember that one.
Yeah, I was gonna say that is actually imprinted into your brain. That is.
It is. It is. My dad's got some really really sketchy videos of me when I was younger. When I did that, those don't need to see the sign of light. Unless maybe we get to 1,500 subs, maybe I can put the video out for people to see. Who knows?
Also, in terms of item builds, we didn't really touch on too much, but you know, the other thing that's unfortunate when Pashi Pop drops the affliction on the John and it just gets instantly removed by Saya with Divine Barrier, and also John just evaporated someone.
We talked to the lawyers, Jason. You're gonna need to keep the minor footage in the vault.
Okay, good. I mean, I was wearing a skirt, but I didn't look sexy. I'll tell you that. At least to me, I didn't. John, we're gonna lose the Rejuvenator Crystal here, but again, he's still 38,000, and you can kill him once, but I don't think you can do it twice. As Yarn be on Saya, trying to go for the turn, as you said, drops it, pushes, gives away. And looking for the 1v1 here, ZP. I don't think Saya wins this.
Saya might win this. Could be close. Still got the rejuve and also quite a bit of damage. Forces out the cube, and well, it's not 1v1 anymore. It is a beatdown out of the cube, where you just look at the cube and be like, actually, I don't want to leave the cube. I want to stay in the cube. As all the viscous voice lines tend to say. But Owl finishes off Pashi Pop. Shrines are going down. First stage patron is going to get melted, and not going to be a whole lot of mercy from John onto second stage patron here.
Bro, just stay. What are they doing?
They should just stay. Like, if John goes in the pit, it will be the patron losing like 30% HP a second. It's going to be fast.
Dies quick as Cool Cheese did here, and you can see the patrons falling. No chance to delay this anymore. And Bunny Clock will lose out in the first game, being down over 50,000 souls. And Melee Creeps now one game away here, ZP, from closing out the series.
Well, it was decisive.
More importantly, NKD wants to know how many to see Kaplan cheerlead again. I think he's talking gifted Kaplan. We could work out a number by the end of the show. Right now, 1-0 is a decent scoreboard number for the Melee Creeps, and that means they're one away from earning another 1,200 some bucks. ZP, was there an MVP?
Was there an MVP? Man, I'm thinking on here, I kind of want to give it to Sai on the doorman. You had good saves with the you know, half support doorman that was going on there. And also, I think you look at how Melee Creeps got ahead. Being able to use doorman doors for some of those early earns was a huge part of giving them the tempo they needed to win the game.
It wasn't John?
No, I mean, John, like, you're feasting on everything else that's been set up there. Like, you're a holiday that's ahead of the game because your team has made good earn plays and good team fights at that point. You should just be left clicking people into oblivion. Like, what are the structural elements to how you got there? And Saya was building the bridge that John would later walk over.
That's a great analogy. I am starting to understand Deadlock a little bit more. We're 15 episodes deep, and I am still lost in the sauce. I can tell when someone's popping off, though, and I feel like you saw a lot of that on the left side of the screen. Bunny with the clock, did they have a top performer in the losing battle?
It's Pop, right? I think he was the only one he was able to turn around some of these fights in the right-hand lane in the early laning phase to prevent it from snowballing. Was able to get return kills on the Arctic, winning out in like 2v1s. I think he was definitely a big point in, and I guess the success they did have, but I think for him, it was just a little bit too tough to win the game because they didn't have the damage they needed. They had Divine Bears, as ZP pointed out, to prevent his affliction from doing too much. And I mean, in the end, again, if you have a 38, 40K holiday, there's really not much you can do against it with the way Bunny Clock were playing, more importantly with how far behind they were.
We're sitting at 1,700 viewers. You guys just witnessed game number 1 as Melee Creeps take down Bunny with Clock. We've got a fill-in team today as North America is still finding their footings in the official 6-man rosters they want to bring to competition. ZP, how close do you think these teams are? Are Melee Creeps officially locked in for good? I know there's talks of other change-ups going on in NA.
I think Melee Creeps are pretty stable right now, but they're the team that's winning right now. So
yeah,
the one thing in any sport team ever, when you're winning, it's real easy to be happy and stick together. The real test is when you start losing. And overall, I mean, I think Bunny with Clock is closer than people may be giving it credit for here. Yeah, in terms of the eye test, this game got way away from them, especially because of how Melee Creeps was able to dominate objectives, and the late game looked pretty brutal because that's just what a gun holiday does. But honestly, in Deadlock, if you're even a little bit behind a team, the early game goes way worse than what we saw here. And, Bunny with Clock, overall, I mean, on mechanical level, they are really, really close. But Melee Creeps, they just have a knack of turning small advantages into bigger advantages and do so in a way that, is on par with some of the best in Deadlock.
Aiden did not have the same success on Mina that we saw with Vindicta, despite that character not getting banned. Do we see blue feet in the next fight, Kaplan?
I don't think so. I think it's too
not
much
gonna
to
work against
ask.
the top dogs.
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, it can work. It's just it's very difficult to pull off. And I think if you don't ban Grey Talon, Melee Creeps can play Grey Talon, which is one of the good counters to her because you can just snipe her out of the air completely. And I think Melee Creeps are much better at preventing that snowball we saw happen up against Boston Tea Party. I think that's maybe one of the downsides to Aiden. Not to say he's a bad player, but when you're so heavily invested in and known for like Vindicta, for instance, you need to have that like second hero that you can play to a very similar level. Like John, we always talked about being his Bebop Warden one trick, and he's shown he can play some other things outside of that with Geist, with Holiday now, and some other heroes. I think Aiden just needs to get a couple of extra heroes under his belt to play at this kind of level, and then I think he can be easily unleashed to be such a solid carry for the team.
Yo, Puckett, I am still upset about the musical chairs in Valorant. That was scuffed. Unlucky Clover, I'm upset you can't even spell my name right, and it's right there in front of you with the graphic. We're going to a commercial break. When we come back, we'll find out, are we going to a second game 3 in a grand final? Will Vindicta show her feet? What's going on? Stay tuned to find out. Woo-wee! It's getting hot in here. Jason Kaplan and ZP ready to rock for game number 3. That is, if Melee Creeps will allow it. They looked pretty much in control of that last one, but you're going up against Bunny with Clock. Anything can happen when they start swinging their strength around. So Kaplan, let's take a look here at what's happened so far and expectations going into draft number 2. Where'd they go wrong in the first draft, if at all?
I don't think they went wrong in the draft.
Okay.
I mean, there's nothing crazy picked. They didn't really need to do anything special. Like there wasn't like John playing Bebop. I mean, maybe you take away Holiday instead of taking away Shiv, but then you leave Fishcake to play Shiv in the game.
Right.
I think that's just kind of the. I think problem is the wrong word.
Mina instead of Vindicta. I thought that's where we were going with this. I
got one for you. I think giving up Doorman. I think giving up Doorman's a mistake. Doorman did God's work in the last game. And I think NA has been slow to adapt to Doorman, but the one team that's playing it right now is Melee Creeps. I think if you give up Doorman, it is bad, especially if the other team gets Doorman at a value where
earns. Like, why is Doorman so cool? Noobify it for me.
for Doorman, you get way more objective control. You get a lot more ways of approaching the urn, whether it be a neutral urn or not neutral urn. And also your mid-boss control is really high too. I think what you get objective-wise from Doorman is way too good, given the fact that the rest of the hero is just generally strong to begin with. And it's why this game played as support. You do like support Doorman with like really good carts, and you get people to objectives. It works out really well.
Thank you very much. We see the Mina removed as well as the Viscous. Kind of interesting to see that. Don't think we've seen a Mina ban required since week 9.
I mean, Kelvin's open, Shiv's open.
Yep.
Holiday's open.
You get Shiv and what here? They took the Kelvin.
Shiv and Holiday?
Shiv
I would hope.
I mean, the interesting thing here.
Change.
The interesting thing here for melee creeps is that they clearly do not enjoy playing against the Gibbs Viscous, but okay, you've gotten Kelvin. Picking Shiv on the other side, really good for 2 reasons. A, Shiv is just that guy regardless, and B, you don't want to give the other team Shiv Kelvin. So 100% Bunny with Clock had to pick the Shiv here. The question is, what do you value after? Okay, it's Paradox. Yeah. I was going to say, do you value the Holiday more? No, I think, to me, between the two, as good as Holiday is, it's so hard to actually argue against picking Paradox as a high prio at the moment.
Imagine getting Paradox and Holiday though.
From the law for so long.
Not this time.
But then
yeah,
they
Holiday
would
coming
get
through.
Shiv. But then they would get the Shiv.
I think one thing we've seen with Gun Holiday coming out is that it allows melee creeps to have flexibility with Saya. Like he could play Holiday if they wanted, and it probably wouldn't be a Gun Holiday. And it also allows John to have another hero to play. But I think if there was any choice, it's going to be John on Gun Holiday, because I mean, why would you not play one of the strongest carries in the game at the moment? And then also Yamato for Fish Cake to follow up with.
Oh,
Geist.
I mean, again, I don't think you go Vindicta.
well, in terms of Aiden's hero pool, like the way I see it with Aiden, that's usually been playing Mina or Vindicta. When you open Mina, it's to me it says you fear Mina options for the other side. Specifically, you don't want to see an Ido Mina, which is why I think they picked it that early. But if you're not doing the Mina, then if you look at Aiden's other heroes, I feel like they do want to go Vindicta here. I think it was a little bit safer maybe to pick it here, because now if you're melee creeps and you've processed all this on your own, you can just ban the Vindicta, but instead you go, no, Paige is actually the devil, no Paige.
Some pretty cool modded skins for Paige. If you remember Puckett, what I sent you before.
Oh god, jeez.
People are getting creative with that.
Abrams keeps coming.
Yeah, I still don't expect to see. I mean, maybe Vindicta could be used here because like Vindicta Abrams again, you have like a really high S tier lane. And I think that would probably be their best bet to snowball the game. You have a good front line with Shiv, Geist, and Abrams. You have a swap with Paradox. I feel like there's like one more thing missing though in their comp, and they need like a carry outside of Vindicta.
Boy.
Ivy's still
And you don't have Infernus anymore. Yeah, you have Ivy, which wouldn't be a bad shout.
I actually think you do go Ivy. She shouldn't be, but she is.
Wraith, 7, all worthless, right?
Well, Wraith and 7 are in the dumps right now. Wraith, because her early game is just atrocious at pro level play, and 7, in part, he still like really has a tough time if anyone like buys Capacitor, and also his early game isn't as good. So I mean, it's why you haven't seen 7 forever. Warden comes in. Okay, well, you get that for your carry option as opposed to an Ivy, but they could still finish with a Vindicta here, because you could go Vindicta Warden? Abrams. Gun character and pretty much pretty good at early laning. The problem is he doesn't have the upside of some of the better gun characters in the game, but there's Vindicta, so it does secure the Vindicta Abrams lane and gives Aiden arguably his best character.
They're going to a game 3. I'm calling it now. Melee creeps finish off this composition with a haze. What do we got? What's coming in?
I feel like one of my hands belongs
A
to
Victor.
a Piccolo player, and the other belonged to a guy who was nicknamed Johnny
I wonder
Sausage
if
Fingers.
I'm still looking at the Warden. I wonder, is it Gibbs hero pool that has limitations, or is it because they specifically want to play Vindicta as well, and they're going to pair Vindicta and Warden together inside of a lane?
Yo, I got called timeout on all of this. Can we reflect on the melee creeps roster of Holiday, Yamato, Infernus, Victor? There ain't enough souls in the game for the comp that you have now drafted. Like, you have so many hungry mouths to feed, whereas by comparison to Bunny with Clock, yeah, your Shiv wants to get farmed, will probably get a decent amount. Your Warden is definitely going to be feeding a lot. Vindicta will feed herself if she's having a good game. Like,
Okay.
the actual ability to have a good soul spread is a lot better with Bunny with Clock than it is for melee creeps. However, the counterpoint to all of that is that melee creeps also has a Kelvin. So, you know, kind of balances out.
So are you saying you got to play extra greedy if you're melee creeps to kind of support these characters? What do you do if you have this comp going into the game?
I mean, I think some of the characters are just not going to be eating well here, and realistically, it's probably going to be the Holiday and Yamato. I hate to say you want either of them underfarmed, but Infernus and Victor don't function if they are poor. Like, a poor Infernus may as well not exist. A poor Victor may as well not exist. Poor Yamato sort of exists, and a poor Holiday still has lasso and still has a good early to mid game. But realistically, you're going to need to funnel your farm into Infernus and Victor, so you're not going to be getting as much value out of the Holiday or Yamato on a base level.
Chat, let us know who do you think is going to be the MVP for game number 2. Saya, Scout, John, Ido, DMB, Fishcake. Of course, you could also pick a player from Bunny with a Clock, but all you haters that just did the prediction poll are going one side with the melee creeps. Kaplan, after seeing the draft, do you agree with the chat, or is there a chance for game 3?
Uh-oh. Are the servers down? Is that what I'm learning from that?
The gaming no starty?
Yeah, so there apparently some issues. Maybe there's a patch coming right now.
Oh God, that would. I mean,
New
okay.
character tonight.
It is within the realm of possibility because it's like 6:30 p.m. on the West Coast. It is like within the range that if you're staying a little bit late, you could push out a patch, which would be unreal timing for where it's at, or it could just be a network blip because what was it? All the Cloudflare stuff where like everything has just been on fire the last few days has been a thing. But it does mean that maybe we head to a break while waiting for this, because who knows? This could be like a 5-minute thing, or this could be like a 20-minute thing. Who knows?
I have a mini game we can play.
Yeah, can we show them art?
That wasn't the mini game, but if you want to show art, we can show art.
Yeah, let's do it.
This is the sound of the producer just rapidly. I was like, shit, where's the art button? Art button, art button, art button.
Oh, Kaplan, what is this stuff? Walk me through the start of the show.
I don't know. I forgot.
This was the incredible Bebop from iHead. If you look in the bottom right, there's a Deadlock that has been carved into the ground. Now, Kaplan didn't know the color, but I know it's blue, and I know there's pink involved, and some purples in there.
It's like cyan and magenta.
Some black.
I probably should have looked at this a little bit more closely, because now that I look at the Deadlock name on the bottom right, it could have said something a little bit different, and I never would have noticed before putting this on air, which would have been really bad. But it says Deadlock. We're good. We're good. Whew.
Yeah. Ooh, number 2 on the big ball. Big spike.
And then I think ZP said he was going to get this tattooed on his back, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he
1,500 subs.
I think he called it Dojo Billy.
I said nothing. I've had no commentary about this art piece. I'm being gaslit. You, the audience, are being gaslit. None of these things have occurred, but it is a cool piece of Billy artwork.
Would you get the Mina in the top left on your bicep, ZP?
No.
I
mean,
agree.
It's cool artwork,
you know why? Her chest piece kind of looks like a smiley face, and I'd just be distracted by it.
Actually, yeah, it does kind of look like.
Yeah.
I see it.
Now, this is some real art. This is for the lower buttocks, if you can handle the pain. Those horns. Devastating artwork. Brutal earrings.
I just want to see this is like a skin in the game, just like short Billy. I could just imagine him running around, just like being angry at everyone, swinging his bat at him.
Yeah. That'd be a competitive advantage at that point.
And then, of course, this is everybody's favorite drawing from Joe Canvas. The Vindicta Sniper.
The best part about this drawing is that the hair braid is just so detailed. Like, you can tell that Joe put so much effort into making the hair look good on Vindicta. The facial details are really, really cool, and that's what really strikes out to me about this picture, and nothing else.
Nothing else.
No.
Zero other things. I've been trying really hard to get Vindictive Feet behind me for like an hour, maybe an hour and 15 minutes now. It's annoying, but the good news is the game is ready, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 2, Melee Creeps taking on Bunny with the clock. They're already shooting each other. ZP, what's happening?
Well, they're shooting each other is what we heard here. Jason, as we're into the game, we'll see if this is going to be the time where Bunny Clock can turn things around. And I think step number 1 for Bunny with Clock, have a good lane with your Vindicta, where, by the way, it is not the Vindicta Abrams lane. The Abrams have been shunted off to the right. Instead, it is the Vindicta Warden lane, which is also pretty good if you're able to land the combo.
Yeah, we saw it in the first game up against Boston Tea Party. Also, big shout out to production for probably saving my career there, because I was about to say something real bad if we stuck on that Vindictive Feet picture any longer. So I'm real happy we got the game
There were
here.
feet in that picture? I didn't even notice. I was
All there
looking
was
at
was
the
feet
other
CP.
Oh, wow.
All there was. Yeah, I mean, we saw this this lane matchup in the first game against Boston Tea Party. It actually net them quite a few early kills, and actually was probably one of the reasons they won the game, because Aiden was able to get what was up to like 14,000 souls, like 10 minutes in. Got extremely far ahead by Max's assassinate right off the bat.
Yeah, and already you look at some of the pressure in this lane. I mean, Kelvin is behind on HP. Victor probably not feeling ultra empowered to, go in, even though the HP is a little bit better. So, I mean, this lane is already in the face of melee creeps. And look, if Warden, one thing Warden does well is that he is scary in lane early on. I mean, it's a lot of punishing gun damage, especially in terms of taking down Guardian. And I think just general flask or pressure from Flask and gun overall is pretty decent.
I mean, at least for them, they're going to have the regen from Jumpstart, the heals from Kelvin with those frost grenades. So if you're going to kill them, you basically have to all in them and kill them in that. I don't think you're going to slowly whittle them away once they get some of these abilities leveled up a little bit further. I think that's something you have to keep in mind with Bunny the Clock if you want to get kills and you want to get the snowball going. But maybe we can talk about some of these other lanes. We can already see Scout low in HP here on the Moen Crow once again, up against the Abram Shiv, played by Tanner and Arctic here in this right-hand side. Not a bad matchup for them too, especially if they get in close range. I mean, if you're Scout and you're trying to just do some score and harass or kind of keep yourself healthy, I mean, all it takes is one charge for you to lose a ton of your HP and put you in a really bad position.
Getting the Abrams versus Mo is quite nice in this sort of lane, especially when you've already been able to get a health lead on the Mo. Like, charge alone puts Scout in a spot where going in for a scorn is anything but free. Like, you try and scorn at this point, you're probably going to die. But also, if you can't get scorns off as Mo, you have one of the largest bodies in the game, and you are going to be eating enormous amounts of poke damage and probably any knife that Shiv wants to throw in your general direction. So it's a really tough spot for Scout to be in, and promising omen for Bunny with Clock.
Look at the positions that Aiden's playing from on this left-hand side. He's kind of split from Gibbs. Not sure exactly. Maybe looking for a catch here. I mean, Assassin's not online just yet. Does have a decent amount of soul stored up so far for Aiden, though, as Saya's just trying to harass away. And you can see this poke. It's doing some good damage. I mean, we haven't really hit that regen point yet for melee creeps on this left-hand side to be able to out-sustain this damage. You do have to worry that if they can't get that going relatively soon, I mean, we're just 1,000 souls away from the assassinates and those snipes to come through. And Aiden doesn't seem to really miss. And Aiden's going to have to respect this at 2,500 souls. And they're already being forced back behind their Guardian here. You might have to consider, is it time to just go heal in base? I guess with extra charge, maybe not so much.
It's always telling lane-wise where you have to go with the old extra regen and healing, right? Or early buy. That is the early buy of, oh god, everything hurts, everything is pain. Also, speaking of pain, the barrel, quick stomp. Cool cheese. Just running afoul of this Holiday Yamato lane, which, again, you talk about classical mid lanes right now. Probably one of the stronger poke lanes you can put together in mid. And, the Geist Paradox, I mean, it's no slouch of a lane, but it's not quite at the same level of firepower as a Holiday Yamato lane.
Yeah. I think the kill potential, I mean, it can be decent, but I think there's just way more burst. Well, that melee keeps her running in here, as we're gonna have the buff spawning through, and Aiden and Gibbs gonna protect this left-hand side. Where are they gonna get casting? Oh man, Aiden's gonna be happy about this one. As the right-hand side, we see a fight breaking out, and it's gonna be a gun buff. Picked up her fish cake, but it quickly gets dispersed of as he falls. And some more kills coming through with Bunny with Clock, getting 2 kills on that exchange on the right-hand side, pulling players from the mid lane and the right lane to confirm it. And overall, a pretty big win here for the bunnies.
And for melee creeps, they also lose some of their momentum on middle because they had to send Yamato up over to help contest that. Doesn't work out. I mean, Fishcake at the very least gets to come back at full HP, but yeah, it's been tough so far. Also, the build that Aiden is doing is about as hyper aggro as you get. Like, if you're going both headshot booster and mystic shot in your first 2 items, you are all out on lane harass, and also you've been so aggressive that you haven't really felt, you know, the same pressure in turn where you'd have to pick up a healing right or an extra regen. And you know, you look at Aiden's HP, it's very full right now. I mean, it's a clear story of lane dominance on the left, though. You know, with Warden going back to heal, you get a brief moment for some extra damage.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't really expect them to really do too much damage back towards them, to take too much, because of just the range you get to play from Aiden. I mean, Warden, as we did see, Gibbs have to go back to base, I believe, to heal, is the one who's going to be more susceptible to this damage coming through. But all in all, I mean, obviously, like, a big turnaround for the bunnies here, and I want to see if they can continue this pace. The snipes have come online now. Does have, oh my god, he's already like level 2 on it. On top of this, I think he's storing up his ability points for the max level. I think he's going to go for it right away if he's going to look for that snowball potential. But they're guarding. I mean, even though they've been, I'd say, technically winning this lane on the left-hand side, ZP, they've taken way more guardian damage.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that just came from the brief moment that Warden had to go back and heal, but once more Scout, just a pinata for damage here. Getting absolutely crunched by Arctic. Arctic, a little bit of return fire heading his way, courtesy of Infernus. And with the bloodletting, Arctic is in the danger zone right now, about to fall, looking for a little bit of damage before finally going down the DMB.
Okay, so 2 kills being had. So Pop falling in towards middle, and John Jones currently at 6.1 thousand souls, so he's starting to really get beefed up here and really deadly. Taking some kinetic carbine damage. Velocity bullets once again with the bullet armor. And Tanner, in the meantime, I guess a quick little gank came through in towards middle. He gets a catch on a fish cake. The thing is, their guard is going to take a lot of damage here. There's really not much Arctic can do to defend against this.
No, not quite. And I mean, you take a look at middle. This is going to be some good middle guardian damage coming in briefly. You do have the quick zip out coming in from both Holiday and Yamato. So looking where John John's at, John John is about to get lasso up. It's going to be a lasso attempt here in middle in just a moment. I would very much expect at this point, especially, you know, early game Holiday, where your goal is to keep lasso on cooldown. And you take a look at the mini map, and you know, from what we can see here, John John is just really angling, looking for lasso, and they use the threat of it just to get middle guardian.
Let's use the movement there, trying to get a catch on a DMB with the shoulder charge. He does escape. The centers will be taken for Bunny with the clock. The middle guardian has gone down. John John's still hovering with that lasso, but they get the initial guardian of the game. And now what are they going to do about this?
The soul spike there, like, we didn't see it, but that was Cultist. Cultist came online, and he just immediately went and ate a red creep, and now is on Sinners. But we got a combo here. Tanner, a little bit low off the combo. Gets the parry, 200 HP. Abrams living on the edge right now. The fire, though, is coming. The burn, a little bit too intense as Tanner reduced to ashes. DMB just being solid and reliable in lane. And now Shiv is next on the menu. This is a rough spot for Shiv to be in. We'll see if Shiv is going to be next to burn.
I think he should be fine here. The DMV is going to have to give up this guardian and maybe look to escape. Killing Blow's not up just yet, but it's not really going to matter for Arctic because he's more than enough damage to finish this one off. Gets stunned up, and DMB will fall to Cool Cheese. And by the clock, keeping things close, keeping things competitive, and actually having a lead is Arctic's just going to take away from the bleed. And John John comes in to get the first kill. Maybe a second as he tries to pull Cool Cheese back towards the guardian and go for the chase.
Cool Cheese drops the wall, but it is absolutely futile with how the rotation has gone in. And yeah, John John now getting a bit ahead of the game. Also, you know, for 9.5 minutes in, that's a not a regulation bag, as well say. Snake comes on in, gets a shocking reanimation out. Still got more in the chamber. With Victor's name on it here. Here we go, looking for the bonus souls, gonna get it.
Oh, okay. Nice little pair at the side, gets a kill on the Gibbs. And should allow him to escape too. The tether coming up in just 1 second time, so the great swap out of Cool Cheese allows the tether to lock down side to get another kill. About 2,000 souls to spend now for Aiden, and an earn to potentially be ran as he just now maxed out Assassinate. Even a movement buff being picked up. So this is the time we really need to keep an eye on Aiden and what he's going to be able to do from here if he can continue to snowball the game and look for these kills with the extra 850 souls apiece.
I mean, the power of Vindictas when you get ahead, with this build is that you are just grabbing souls effectively out of midair, but the pressure here on the John pretty intense. Arctic
Oh my god.
gets comboed at the end just when you think things are going well. Mo comes in to tilt the scales. Now Shiv, low HP, pops a bloodletting already. 90 HP in a dream, trying to get away. Scout on the chase down. Arctic nearly back to Walker though. A little bit of extra Shiv movement, able to just barely get over, but it's not enough. That last bloodletting tick enough to take down Arctic.
Great attempt out of Tanner too with the charge to buy some time. The same rate though, Scout did the exact same thing, saving on his teammate with the combo. So Melee Creeps now with just a 3k lead, but a lead nonetheless, as we do see a big grouping on this left-hand side out of Bunny with Clock, looking for a Guardian and looking for their first one of the game, but they still have yet to be able to take one after losing out on 2 on the left and mid lane and actually right lane. They lost all 3 of their Guardians, I just noticed. And here's the Frozen Shelter coming through to prevent this one. Gibbs, you have nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. But wait, how did he shoot the Guardian through the dome?
Actually, unless
Can we get a replay of that?
Did he go split shot? Like, surely not. Like, because split shot I think goes through dome or like has been going through dome, but other than that, there's not reliable ways of shooting through dome.
Guardian would have got down eventually, right? But that was interesting.
I will say, game-wise, Gibbs is not where you want to be as Warden. Like, when Warden has worked, Warden works when effectively he's on a trust fund. He is way ahead of the game, is the main way that Gun Warden is viable, and Gibbs is just not on that right now. Oh, there's no split shot.
I mean, I didn't even see any damage come from his shot either, so
I think
like, I don't see numbers ticking. So maybe it was minions and he got credit.
Seems more like I saw some other shots from outside coming in. I think it may have been the Geist. Like, Pashi was outside of the dome and shooting. Yeah, like Gibbs
Gibbs got the kill on the Guardian. That's why I was confused. Oh well. I mean, we're closed alpha, so if it is a bug, it's to be expected. There's gonna be bugs in the game for sure. And Ido on the Victor. We're gonna talk too much about him. Trying to buy some time on the mid lane as a big grouping of Bunny Clock yet again. We can see the Shocker animation has been used, a combo on top of that, looking for a kill. As now Arctic's coming in and he's got a good amount of potential to get some kills here. He's got full rage bar as well. It doesn't show it on the screen, but we can see he has it.
Another Frozen Shelter comes on out. It's like, wait, didn't you just use that ability? Well, cool down not as long as you may think. Arctic though, still full HP, ready to rumble. DMB gonna go down. And right now, Shiv, you're feeling yourself. You absolutely stay under this Kelvin that you know has no dome. But also, keep your eye on the prize. When right now the prize is trying to even out on Guardians. And if the Guardian's going down, a lot of the soul advantage has basically equalized here, Jason.
Yeah, I mean, while this was happening, though, we did see a push out of John getting the right lane walker down to half HP, which was defended by Pashi Pop. But keeping souls equal here is definitely the start for Bunny with Clock. I'm still going to be keeping my eye on Aiden and what he's going to potentially be able to do if he's going to get any connections. Remember, he had 6,500 souls pretty much secured from that last game that they played with Assassinate alone. And there's going to be another one to add to the tally here, up to 14,000 souls now. And he's got, how much is that in the bag? 1,900 souls in his bag. He's got to be so careful. And yeah, you can see him backing away. He realizes, maybe I should spend these.
I do wonder as the game evolves, like if you start seeing more Aiden level Vindictas, or Vindicta just gets buffed and, you know, ends up being more of a centerpiece, how much you make it a priority of going, okay, we probably should, you know, take down Vindicta because it is incredibly worthwhile. Like, Vindicta inadvertently becomes like one of the best pickoffs in the game if she's got to pick off on you, but not after she goes a little bit of shopping, picks up 2 items, drains the bank account. And the fights keep on coming. Tanner finding Ido. Parry, though, comes on in. John having none of the fisticuffs, able to just bounce away.
Good charge, interrupt the combo. Scott's gonna get locked down by the Binding Word, and oh my god, Tanner just doesn't stop punching like in high school with ZP. Gets another kill, and that's the extra pick up a 240 on top of that too. Tanner's having a pretty good game here on this Abrams, 13,000 souls, and just like that, ZP, we see a 5k lead for Bunny with Clock and an earn coming up. This is an ideal time for them to maybe take a walker or maybe just take the earn turn in to lengthen their lead.
They need it. Like, I think if Bunny with Clock have any opportunity of winning this game, they have to get a lead now because the late game is miserable against them. Like, they do not win late game if it is even. So they need to take what they have now and run with it. And getting this Walker here would be a good start if possible. Last stand coming out here from Gibbs. Of course, it's going to be more of a tickle here. Only spirit item being slowing X. So just trying to get a little bit of extra sustain while getting damage onto the Walker. But I don't know if they get the Walker this time around. I think it's going to take another trip.
Scout was even looking for the chase to keep Palshi Pop away. The urn is actually being fought over on the right-hand side while we were tuning in with what's happening on the left. No team really has full control of this urn at the moment as the frozen shelter has come down. It's locked in Arctic with it, living up to his name here, fighting in the cold. They get themselves a kill and might be able to get more here. Full rage bar as well on top of this. And Tanner's going to escape with just a little bit of HP, but they get themselves 2 kills and the urn back in their own hands. Eventually picked up for Arctic, but not so clean of a chance to take it here, though. They could transition this into a very easy Walker take with it already low on HP.
I like urn fight terrain for Bunny with Clock right now. It's easy to forget at times because we haven't seen more gun focused or like selfish Vindicta in recent memory. But Vindicta is carrying firepower. Your ability to just be abusive around the urn fight is pretty high just because of how open it is. But in this case, melee creeps decide, nah, like we're not even gonna contest this. But you look at this and you go, what are you getting for this? Well, melee creeps, the calculus was to get right Walker. And it's close, but I'm not entirely sure they get it here, Jason. We'll see.
Ida's gonna try. He's got shotgun reanimation. I think he's gonna commit for it, even if he doesn't fall.
Committed. Even if he gives his life up for it, it's generally worth it at this point.
I think they stopped attacking to try to give it over to Aiden. I think the Siphon Life eventually got the kill on towards Ido as a combo comes through into Arctic. I don't know if Scout and Sai have enough damage to take Arctic down, to be honest, but they have a decent amount of sustain. The killing blow is going to be up. Healing Nova been used to keep Sai above that threshold, and they are going to survive the fight. Fishcake comes in to clean this one up, and they do at least alleviate the pressure, but not before losing the Walker on the left-hand side. So 1-for-1 trade between the two teams on those Walkers.
It's funny that the team Bunny with Clock is the one that is on the timer at the moment here, Jason. I'm looking at this, is like the Bunny has the clock because they're the ones that actually need to finish this quickly. Because I look at the hero rosters here, and while Melee Creeps has a lot of people to give souls to, if they can withstand for a long enough period of time, Jason, they absolutely maul the late game. They really do.
Oh, for sure. I mean, DMB is going to be fed a lot of farm. I think it's pretty much just like a 3-way fight, and Ido has to pick up the scraps here, like John, Fish, and DMB. Oh, I don't know if you want to be here necessarily. Cool Cheese eventually does go for the chase on the Scout, pulls him back into the Alchemist Fire, or Alchemical Fire. And Scout, man, he's been having a rough series so far. He's been caught out quite a few times, but obviously being forced to play the Moblin Krill. It looks like he'll be able to escape to safety here with relative ease. But yeah, we get to the late game, man. And obviously Shiv's gonna be annoying, but seeing like John with glass cannon, we got the kill with the bleed. There had to have been a sniper something out of Vindicta to help facilitate that.
It may have just been the bleed too. I mean, the knives are actually doing absurd amounts of damage right now. Like I saw the second knife hit and you're just like, wait, Scout, where's your HP going? And Arctic is in a really, really good spot right now. And I mean, look, if Bunny with Clock is able to bring us to a game 3 based on everything else we know about the teams, to me, it goes back to the idea of like right now, you don't want to give up Shiv, right? Frozen Shelter in. You've put Shiv in the Thunderdome, but can you actually take him out? A lot of damage coming in from DMB. DMB slowly working down Arctic. And yeah, I mean, it takes a long period of time, but eventually Shiv can fall.
It's over.
Aiden's here, but he was blocked out by the Frozen Shelter before. That soul bag being picked up, and I think DMB actually might die here. He's up against Gibbs now and doesn't have the backup of Sai anymore because Sai's had to retreat away, and Ido's going for a chase himself on the right hand side, trying to keep and defer away Bunny with Clock from taking the right lane Walker. But Aiden and Gibbs are going to be actually in hot pursuit from this middle lane. Oh no.
Man, Last Stand is not a good ult without spirit items. Like, you just look at the range there, it's like, aha, Last Stand, and it's not good. Like, there's nothing good about that ability unless you have items invested into it. It is Absolutely ridiculous.
I mean, a great lasso came in. It caught out Aiden. Aiden gets the bear on top of it. It eventually takes Aiden down. There's a lot of souls to be picked up from this, actually. If he can just lock those down, considering Aiden, I think, got a kill with the assassinate before that. I heard a killing blood go off out of Arctic, but no kill coming from that. And John's just on the hot pursuit. He's on the chaser. He wants this kill on a Poshpop who doesn't have ultimate.
He's in the closet. I don't think there's a... Well, okay, you actually get the backup from Shiv. That is enough to buy you enough time. Enough for John to go down the Tanner at the very end. Bunny with clock, able to get some late kills here. And this could be dangerous for melee creeps. I mean, they lose one more off the end of this near middle. It's where mid-boss becomes a thing. However, same goes the other way with Ido being able to pick up a kill in their Tanner on the end.
I don't know how Poshpop escaped that one. I would really like to see his point of view of how he ran away, knowing he was trapped in the closet. Arctic had to bail him out. Earn on the map, and still within 5,000 souls of the two teams, and Gibbs is going to pick this one up and quickly run away to make sure they have the opportunity to turn it in. It's kind of crazy, by the way, ZP. Doorman was open, but Doorman wasn't picked in this game.
NA is going to NA. Like, I actually, that is probably the most egregious read, meta-wise, that NA is doing right now, is not picking Doorman. I actually think it's a mistake, given the power we've seen Doorman do, or even in the previous game. And I get from melee creeps, you know why they didn't go Doorman? I think Saya is their main Doorman, and he's also their main Kelvin.
Ido plays it
Abyss
as a gun carry, but I don't know if you want to play gun carry Doorman anymore. But we're going for a push on the left-hand side because the Urn was being ran towards the right out of Gibbs, and they've defended the left lane Walker push and get Urn turn in. A massive victory here for Bunny with clock, almost getting up to a 20k lead.
Yeah, I mean, Bunny with clock is in a good spot, but again, they still need more off here. I mean, ideal world for Bunny with clock. Okay, do they go mid-boss now? Mid-boss now? The timing here, we'll see if they have the damage for it. This damage seems to be pretty good. Punch is doing a lot. And on the contest here for melee creeps, you have no shout transformation, you have a lasso. That's it, you have no concussive combustion. Otherwise, this is the best opportunity to get mid-boss charges, and exactly where Bunny with clock needs to be if they want to force map 3.
John? I guess he should be safe, though I think DMB isn't going to be so lucky. I wonder actually what build DMB is going for. Is he going for the Flame Dash build with extra mobility up against this team? Or is he sticking to the try and test it afterburn into Catalyst Max? But now, I mean, melee creeps, they have to defend against this, and Bunny the Clock talking about them on the push. They might get a fight that they're actually more than happy to take here on this right-hand side.
Combo on the Arctic.
Oh,
This could be
so
one
lucky.
Rejuve Crystal. Hey, look, don't question the physics here of combo. But melee creeps, they're just looking for a quick dine and dash. They wanted to get a Rejuve charge out and leave. They don't get the Rejuve charge out, but they still have the leave. However, right now, looking for Fish Cake just able to shake the pressure and get out. Also, while this is going on, DMB, a little bit deep in the enemy territory, about to get handled by Shiv in the 1v1 on the right.
As he reads into her spots and does back away. They're trying to keep these lanes pushed. I mean, if he gets base guards, that'd be nice. It's hard for Bunny with Clock to actually push with this Rejuve right now, as they do get a catch onto Poshpop. But melee creeps get the catch. The reinforcements are going to be here in Aiden's. This isn't really an ideal spot to fight for, or to fight in, but the Frozen Shelter has come in to buy some time and hopefully keep Fish Cake alive. You can see him up to 6, 7, 8, now 1,000 HP to fight this one. If they can take some crystals here, this would be a perfect situation for melee creeps, but to get the kills off the back of the crystals is going to be too tough to ask for.
Scout, first one to fall here for melee creeps. Bunny with clock looking to fall through. Only one crystal gone here. Poshpop super low. Absolutely no problem. Another one goes down. Melee creeps reeling from this fight that started within the double center building. And as a result, it's right by mid walker. Mid walker, by far the hardest walker to take down. Gonna be cleaved through here off this Rejuve. John, though, could be getting some serious farm. Oh, maybe getting the entirety of the individual contribution on the walker. Yeah, and does. That's a holiday.
Guardians.
Yeah, I mean, John's gonna get really fed off this. Like, John's getting solo contribution across the way on the left, doing really good gun damage here on the holiday. Yes, first stage patron is gonna go down. I wonder if a Bunny o'clock, do you just stay? I mean, you have 2 Rejuve charges. Yeah, you stay. Now John's gonna come back and try and defend, but I wonder if the timing works out here.
I think it might be too late. At least the entirety of Melee Creeps is going to be up except Ido. Patron's going to be attacked on as they see the final fight, the final stand here out of Melee Creeps, down to half HP already for the Patron. They're just going to focus on down. The combos come in, but it doesn't matter. Bunny with Clock, the lead they finished off with, able to close out the game and take it to a map 3. And they did it with the help of Aiden on Vindicta once again. I wonder if Melee Creeps are going to switch things around, go into the batting phase this time of maybe taking her out of the equation. Though I don't think necessarily the reason they won, but definitely helped out quite a bit, especially when it came to Arctic on the Shiv.
Look, I'm going to say it. It's Shiv. Like, you can't give up Shiv. I think when you look at how these fights went down, the number one pain in the ass to Melee Creeps this entire game was Arctic on the Shiv. And yeah, it created space for Aiden. There's other things that are working out well in conjunction with that. Well, the second thing too is probably just the team comp that Melee Creeps went with. Too many mouths to feed. Like, it would have been a lot better if they picked a comp where you had more heroes that were farm neutral, and then you could really just feed, say, like your Infernus and your Holiday, or, you know, something along those lines. I did not love the Victor pick here. You know, something like Doorman would have made sense, even if your only support Doorman player right now is Saya.
I mean, I can kind of get the Victor. If you Frozen Shelter with a Victor inside, when you have a Warden, a Shiv, an Abrams, a Geist, like, you're going to do a significant amount of damage. But to be honest, and this isn't any shade towards Saya, but I feel like Melee Creeps just don't play well around Kelvin or set Kelvin up for success. Even thinking back to games they won, it wasn't necessarily because Saya was playing Kelvin amazing. If I remember correctly, it's not even a hero he plays that often. But we haven't really seen MC play around Kelvin in particular to a crazy level. This is ultra slow motion.
Yeah, this is frame by frame. Yeah, I mean, there are limits. Even when you're playing Kelvin, who is still probably at the very top tier of hero power. Look, I mean, it's a smaller sample size, but there's a part of me that feels like if you have to have both Shiv and Kelvin in the game, you'd arguably maybe want to be on the Shiv. Like, I think Shiv is that good. He is that guy at the moment, and it just completely warps battles in the sense, I mean, forget the impact of Killing Blow, but just the pure fact of the amount of space Shiv commands by existing with how durable he is. No other hero in the game is giving you what Shiv gets you, and yeah, if the game had went long, Melee Creeps may have been able to come back in, especially with John getting, you know, particularly farmed, but in the end, they ran out of time.
Yeah, and there was just like too many skirmishes, I think, for Melee Creeps in positions they weren't really an advantage for. I mean, you see at the end, John at 30k souls, but he did miss, I think, like the last 2 team fights. We can see here only 14,000 player damage done. DMB had 26,000 with 4,000 less souls. Like, that's kind of a big distinction between the two. And maybe how this game was going, Melee Creeps were putting too much emphasis on John farm. As you pointed out, the later the game goes, the better chance Melee Creeps are going to win this game. And maybe that's why Bunny with Clock tried to end the game when they did.
They had to, like pure and simple, they had to. They were not going to scale super well into late game, even with the Shiv. There was too many late game threats. When I look at the Melee Creeps draft, the number one thing you change here is the Victor. The Victor did not make sense. It got picked later in the draft. It got picked into a draft where you already had so much demand for farm. Look, it's not on Ido for how Ido is playing the Victor. It was not a player issue overall in my mind. I think comp-wise, Victor was the odd man out here, and there's a lot of other picks that would have made more sense. I mean, look, you're trying to get frontline here. Even things like Billy were available that would have made a lot more sense for the objectives you were trying to do. But Victor takes way too long to come online. And unless you're willing to turbo feed your Victor, which you're not, by the way, when you have Infernus, Holiday, Yamato, it's just not worth the pick.
Damn, poor Saya. 13% of his souls, the second highest amount of souls he got from that game, was from being the lowest amount of souls on his team. That's crazy, man. Getting like almost 2,000 souls out of your 18k just from that. I mean, again, you're playing low eco as a Kelvin, and as you pointed before, the amount of mouths they had to feed, someone had to take the hit, and it was him mostly with Scout as well at 21,000. You know, if we're talking about the Victor, also, I don't know if I'm a big fan of the Mo in this comp either. I can kind of get the idea of it to go for picks. But then when I see Kelvin and Victor together, it's more of you want to like team fight. I mean, it's decent to shut down Arctic. It's decent to shut down Aiden, even potentially Gibbs. But I don't think it had as much success in this match as maybe they were hoping for.
I mean, maybe not. I mean, in theory, it was fine. It's just the problem of running the Mo where the rest of the comp was not as synergistic as realistically it could have been. So for me, I'm looking at this and saying, yes, you had really good execution coming in from Bunny with Clock, and they knew their win conditions and they pushed the game to end when, if they had waited, it would have won against them. But draft-wise, Melee Creeps needs to get back to basics as we head into our second game 3.
Yeah, they'll have time to get back to those basics, and we'll see who will take the title. And of course, the 1,000 plus bucks. A big shout out to everyone that has donated into our prize pool. Remember, we start each week out at 1,200, and all the donations go directly into the prize pool, whereas the subs on Twitch and YouTube go into making sure we can run these shows every single week for you. We'll head to that break, and when we come back, it's the final map of the night. It's time to determine who's going to win North America. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're back here with our final game of the night between Melee Creeps and Bunny with Clock. BWC taking the last map, but potentially a third and final one to win themselves the 1,250 and change of the prize pool. Most of that being donated from you guys at home who are watching it. Once again, a big shout out to you guys for making that one possible. But ZP, as we're about to head into the final game, honestly, I had this one pinned to be a relatively quick 2-0 for Melee Creeps, but game 2 definitely proved to be quite difficult for MC.
Yeah, as it turns out, draft-wise, too many characters that need farm, bad. Giving up the other team the Shiv, really bad. Like, there are some pretty critical draft errors that Melee Creeps made, and it's a good reminder that even if, on paper, you have more mechanical skill than the other team, there's just errors you cannot make in the draft phase and reasonably expect to win the game. And I think Melee Creeps are going to come back at this with a much more respectful approach. And I can guarantee you this here, Jason, there is no universe where they are giving away Shiv here. Bunny with Clock, they have first pick. To me, that means Melee Creeps coming on in with second ban. They will be banning Shiv. Unless Bunny with... Okay, well, Bunny Clock does it first, then all the better.
I feel like if you're Melee Creeps, you can almost just leave open Kelvin here if I take away Vindicta, but I think Melee Creeps are definitely looking to get Holiday once again. And last time we saw this play around, Bunny with Clock, we did go for a Paradox first pick, and then we saw the Holiday come through for Melee Creeps. But I'm also wondering, or also hoping that Holiday does get picked for Bunny with Clock, because I want to see John on some Bebop, man.
Yeah, I mean, John on the stream was a whole lot of Holiday pilled. I mean, look, Holiday is addictive right now, man. Like, you play Holiday, you get to late game, and you feel the power of just dropping someone in 3 shots.
Why do you say that, ZP? What do you mean about her being addictive? What's your game history look like?
Holiday. I mean, it's Holiday all the way down, and it's directly linked to when Warden became absolute garbage. Especially in pub games. But yeah, okay. Yamato comes in for Melee Creeps. Not a big surprise. We'll see if the Holiday comes in to back it up. I think if you do want to play the Holiday, you kind of have to pick it now, or otherwise be prepared to grab Bebop on the turn. But okay, they do want to play Holiday. John's going to be on. And, for Bunny with Clock, you almost don't have to worry about the Bebop now, because Melee Creeps has shown that they really only want to play John on the Holiday, and they're not going to put anyone else on Bebop.
I mean... Okay, so I think I remember saying this before, that there is like still a world where we see Saya play Holiday if they don't pick anything else for Saya, because like they have shown the flexibility in that. But I think to your point, Holiday is too strong as gun right now to not give it to John and have Saya play it. But looking at the picks now coming through with Mina, I mean, game 1, Mina didn't look good. You do take it away from Ido, but if you're forcing Aiden to play it, that means he's not going to be on Vindicta. And I don't see a world they play Mina and Vindicta in the same lineup at once.
This feels like a little bit of a screw you to Ido with how they're drafted here. Like, I actually think the early Mina pick here is less that you want Aiden to play it, because I think all things being even, you'd probably want Aiden on the Vindicta. But it's purely a... Mina has become one of Ido's signature heroes over time. Probably the signature hero for him in the last, microcosm of time, even more so than his pocket, as far as what we've seen preference to play. And last time around, you drafted in a way that Ido ends up on Victor, which was very not good. So, yeah, I think the Mina pick, all those factors being considered, makes a whole lot of sense. And okay, this is actually hate draft against Ido. When you throw in the pocket ban at the very end, it's very obvious what's going on here, Jason.
I mean, what is he going to play now? I think there's still a decent amount of possibilities for him. I mean, you have Abrams, which we know he can play quite a bit, which we do see it picked up. So I kind of, actually, well, to be fair, I think Scout can play Abrams too. So there's no guarantee it's going to be Ido on Abrams just yet. But I do like the move away from Owen Krill, to be fair. I feel like Scout's, he's done his job for the team. He's played it twice in a row. Don't make this man play it 3 times.
Standing around for. Let's
What I'll say here is, please, Doorman, like, do not get another character that needs farm. You already have Yamato, Holiday, Infernus. Get things that are a little better. By the way, you know what's actually available for melee creeps right now? If Bunny with Clock doesn't take it, Paige. Paige has been like continually getting banned and unavailable and everything else. Like, Paige would make a whole lot of sense right now for melee creeps. Like, I would love to see them pick up a Paige with one of their next 2 picks. I mean, even actually finishing up with something like Paige Doorman would seem really good to me here, Jason.
Sorry, I'm a little late.
Well, there's the
Can't finish
page.
chapter I was on.
I'm still hit or miss on Doorman, just because with the nerfs that have happened to him, we haven't really seen Gun Doorman anymore. And I believe I want to believe he was playing Gun Doorman when we saw him playing it.
You have to have the willingness to go support
My bow is
Doorman
yours.
here, but okay, Ido's gonna be in the GT, so okay. I mean, Ido's GT isn't bad, so that
I mean, it makes sense. Mina, right? Can pop her out of the sky really easily with great talent. And Ido, he wasn't like Gigafed when we saw him in game 1, but they still won the game, and it was still really not even close. And we're also seeing the Mirage come back into play yet again. So honestly, a very similar comp for Bunny with Clock from what we had in game 1, which doesn't bode well for them here, ZP, because I don't know if they can stop John from farming or the global impact from great talent played by Ido. But the big change up is having, I believe, Ivy and Billy with Bunny with Clock. I can't remember what they played in the first game in those 2 slots in particular.
I would have to go back and look myself, but I do think the overall comp for melee creeps to me looks straight up better. I think your end game is insane for melee creeps. You still have a lot of early mid game power. I mean, look, your early mid game is going to be carried by the fact that Holiday is like a dual purpose hero, really good in the early game and late game combined. Paige, any one Paige is laning with just becomes a miserable to deal with. Like, it could just be a Paige Abrams lane. And then GT, you get Owl online, your map control is out of this world. Bunny with Clock, yeah, I mean, you have things here like, yeah, I mean, it could be good early, same with Paradox, but the overall package for Bunny with Clock is not as good early game. And frankly, I mean, you think about late game scaling, I don't think it's even better late game. Like, I think this is just a pure draft win from melee creeps, pulling through.
Yeah, and again, it's kind of like the deeper levels of when it comes to the draft. The ability to be able to play all these heroes that they pick to a very high level that also work well together, that also synergize well together, that also work around the whole economy game well together. It's just kind of a win-win-win here at the moment for melee creeps. And I mean, I think if we're to look at draft alone, ZP, I think we both agree Bunny with Clock are going to be having to fight very hard to keep things equal here. And one thing we're going to see is that Sire already on the page going to be paired actually with the Great Town. I was expecting it to be Abrams, but I guess you want to make sure Ido has a stronger start here, and you don't want to pair Great Talent and Infernus together.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting that it's not the Abrams, but I mean, Abrams can still kind of work with a bunch of lanes. You don't have to go for the absolute filth that is getting trades with the Page Abrams. And I mean, people have gotten good enough at Page at this point to where you can make any lane with Paige a good lane. Like, she's just a really strong laner, and already you see the pressure that even a viscous lane with Mirage is under at the moment.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy that they're this far playing safe. And oh my god, Gibbs just takes a hell of a lot of damage here. Not about a quarter health, and look how aggressive they're being. I don't, this is blowing my mind that they're actually forcing them this far back, and they're so low HP that honestly there's a point where you're just like, maybe we just both go back and heal at base. Because the lane's still being shoved against you. I mean, obviously you don't want to miss the wave, but if you clear this wave and you run back really quickly, there's that opportunity.
You know, the worst part is that Saya, like, could actually go back and get Mystic Expansion right now, but they're just like, nope, we've already done so much damage. We want to convert HP damage into Guardian damage and go from there. And Saya's probably just going to wait for the 1600 buy instead, which is, oh god, like, the left lane is an actual disaster. No, god, please no.
Yeah, no gun page, I don't think. Extra regen picked up here for Gibbs. He has cube up. He already used it once. I mean, you know, to be fair, him and Arctic are relatively healthy now. But actually, some minions being missed on this this right-hand side, as you saw. It was Aiden looking for stealing away some of the minions. I don't know if it was them that they lost it or their opponents that lost it, but either way, Soul's being lost on that lane. His initial kill has come in onto Tanner. This is an interesting sign right now. Getting denied on both, that sucks.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny. I almost feel like people don't go for denies as much at the top level because you just assume people are gonna secure it, and people just tend to focus more on pressure. But every now and then you're like, nope, I'm gonna steal your stuff,
Bro, speaking of pressure, look at the minimap. Look on the left-hand side. Look at
Cello. I mean, part of it may just be box running in enemy territory, to be fair. Like,
yeah, that's what I meant.
As long as I can.
Well, this is the worst part of playing against Paige. Is like, you don't really want to counter pressure while the shield is up, and she's just running at you, throwing pages at you. Her namesake. It's pretty rough.
2,500 souls, and finally Sia's to go by. I didn't see what he picked up just yet, but this is a little bit rough considering how defensive Bunny with Clock are having to play here on this left-hand lane. Though, to be fair, they're not really that far behind in souls. I mean, you can see Sia at 2.6 and Ido at 2.9. It's still relatively equal. It's only Gibbs who's kind of really starting to fall behind a bit.
If I had to guess for Sia, probably Guardian Ward and Expansion, like two of the main stabs. We're going War Support Page early on. I'll get that confirmed next time we look, but the damage on the Guardian's huge. Guardian's already down at half, and yep, Guardian Ward Expansion. Who could have guessed? As Tornado comes in, and well, barriers just making Sia relatively durable, playing around the Spirit Snare.
Yeah, Ido there to back him up. Ooh, get some good connection on Arctic. He's low on health now, so he has to be careful that he does have extra regen coming through. Not the item, but survivability in lane. Maybe to, okay, as I say, maybe a little bit of engagement on towards middle. And John's going to get the catch on the cool cheese and punish him. And that Guardian's even low on HP. I mean, to be fair, like the left and mid lane Guardians right now for Bunny with the Clock are extremely low on health.
I mean, Melee Creeps just has ridiculous lanes across the board. I mean, any lane with the page was going to be good. You can stack middle with Holiday Yamato, which is absolutely one of the strongest poke lanes in the game. And now, ready to claim mid buff. And see where he goes from here. Okay, not actually the most impactful mid buff for John John. John John was probably hoping for Vitality, but you know, can't win them all.
Well, Gibbs is gonna fall, leaving Arctic alone in a 1-on-2. Some really good damage onto Sia. Maybe gonna look for the finish on towards him. As Zido's gonna get some free pot shots on him, and Sia with the shield, stand and fight, able to I guess stall it long enough for Ido to get the kill.
That's one of the underrated things almost against a Page lane is that she, relative to other heroes in the game, she really messes with your sense of like, is it safe to stay in and fight because of how barriers end up working. And just, fights like that are not uncommon, is what I'll say. Viscous trying to do a little bit of punish here onto Ido. Gibbs looking for it, but Ido able to back away.
Man, just keep seeing these kills being traded. It's a 5k lead, 6k lead now for Melee Creeps, and at the rate it's going, ZP, I'm getting very worried for Bunny with the Clock. I mean, they're losing in the left lane, losing the mid lane. They've already lost to both the Guardians. The right lane's their one semi-saving grace, but even that's fallen behind. Aiden at 4.4 thousand souls. I mean, Scout's already at 4.8, and he's allowed to be this beefy front line with the Spirit shielding. And Josh even gets another kill.
It's just all over the map right now. No matter where you go, when yellow is taking on blue, yellow is winning. And it's, you know, it's starting to snowball completely out of control. You look at, oh, just 6k, but you look at the Guardian situation and the free roam ability is just ridiculous. Pashi having to take cover underneath the walker. Now, EMB maybe bit off a little bit more than they could chew. Taken down here by Tanner, who looking for a little bit of big blue at the same time.
Oh, I mean, Aiden's gonna fall, and of course it's gonna be Yamato once again. Fish cake, looking for another catch on the cool cheese. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not sure you're gonna escape this one. Paradox, the power slash comes through, and he does survive that hit, but won't survive much more than this. The dive's gonna come in full force. Melee Creeps continue to extend this lead up to 6k, and Tanner, I don't think you can even take this fight.
No, not at all. And I mean, yeah, okay, you got fish cake down the half, but the soul difference is so ridiculous now that Melee Creeps can push their advantage. Like, you can take fights that normally you can't take because the stat differential is just that big And this is how this is going to be reflected. We're 10 seconds away from Sinners spawning. Look at the mini map because you're about to see some robbery across the map in all likelihood. Melee creeps starting with Sinners on the blue side first before going to their own. And this is how you really start snowballing an even larger advantage as see the initiation coming in here. Aiden having the Sanguine out as Paradox just gets cut down in the middle of the lane.
I mean, maybe we could see Posh Pup get the mid lane Guardian for this, but they're going to lose their third Guardian of the game. They're going to lose massive control around the map. And as you said before, the Sinners on top of that, you already see that Saya and Ido have been able to take the left-hand side by the lane. And they're going to be looking for their own Sinners and still enemy Sinners. Like, this is like a massive denial. And now Posh Pup's going to get hooked in and lassoed under the tower, being forced to fly away. And it looks like will be able to escape, but so much damage has been done in this last 1 to 2 minutes of time.
Owl for good measure in onto Gibbs. You know, you have a little bit of spirit shielding, but the power shot taking away most of it. Ido right now versus Mirage. Something Mirage may be able to win here. Gets a tornado towards the end. However, guess what? It's Paige. It's ruined your day. 450 plus barrier onto Ido. Let's Ido stay in the fight. DMB going down the other side of the map. So Bunny with Clock, a little bit of movement, but just Saya, right place, right time to stop Ido from going down.
It's gone from tough to tougher. Trying to push for this Guardian. Backup's going to be here in the form of DMB. Oh my god, these snipes just hitting through. 400 health left for Arctic. Procking out on that QSR, and Ido is going to go in. I think he's just trying to bait, just trying to pull in players to keep them around for longer. Nobody has the survivability of Saya there, and you can see the ultimate being thrown in out of Page. And Arctic's just going to be chased down as DMB, or sorry, that's Cool. She's going to be chased down as DMB's here ready to fight. Even Scouts joined the party. This is a massive fight on this left-hand side.
All right, yeah, Gibbs is going to goo ball here, but you're going to get lit on fire, and okay, actually able to get out. The power of goo ball in the early game, but the scourging not done here. Scout out for blood right now. Cool Cheese in danger. Parry attempt comes out. No melee to meet it. Low HP. Quick melee attempt in from Scout. Scout in off the jump pad. A few more shotgun shots will do it. Over in charge. Done.
It's gone from bad to worse. The momentum starting to pick up now for Melee Creeps, starting to win out in these fights. They have an Urn in hand out of Sai, who's going to run this one across the map, and you already have John shoving this lane to make sure they can go for the turn in. I don't actually know if Bunny with Clock have gotten a single Sinners yet. I can see that Pudding's still up.
I mean, the problem was that Melee Creeps, the Sinners that they took first were all on the Bunny with Clock side of the map, and Bunny with Clock, you are nowhere near strong enough to go to the Melee Creep side of the map, which is, one of the best things to do in your head is just, take enemy Sinners. Swap here on the Scout. Scout not caring too much. Shield being up. Use melee for a little bit of movement, off the corner boost, into the charge, and not feeling too stressed whatsoever, even as Bunny with Clock is trying to overload the left-hand side, but you're going to start seeing the rotations coming on in. Ido coming over and in, has the Owl good to go, and, maybe they get DMB here, which would make this somewhat better, but, with DMB still being ahead of things relative to Bunny with Clock, there's a good chance he gets out of this here, Jason.
I think he should be fine, considering where everyone is. I think maybe if Gibbs hits a sick puddle punch, it could be what they need. But as long as you're Melee Creeps and you don't lose anyone in this fight, I feel like you win in the end. Because with 3 players, you should be able to defend the left lane Walker. And if you look on the right-hand side, you see John and Saya ready to push onto that right lane Walker, which they should get with relative ease.
They should go a step further.
Go on.
Allocation-wise, I think if you are Saya, you stay there until the Walker is like a little bit low, and then you leave and let John get maximum Walker contribution. Like, get that holiday to endgame ASAP.
See, I've always wondered if they took that out, because I remember you used to see like people spike like 2,000 to 3,000 souls for taking a Walker, but I swear we're not 2K. Seeing that happen anymore.
Even last game, you still spike like 2K. In this case, though, wait. Is Paige leading? Okay, she's getting chased down. And John, yeah, getting a nice little boost there, and oh man, Pashi probably should have gotten out of there. Was looking for the Paige instead. Getting a face full of holiday here. The shield coming in towards the end. Billy coming in for the save. Low HP is Pashi. One more hit's going to do it. Has the Billy done enough to save? Maybe. The parrotfish comes on out with nothing for John at the end. Able to bounce away. Billy's still in pursuit, but I think they made enough clearance.
It's been enough for Pasha to escape. And also it's been long enough for ZP to get the hiccups once again. The third time on the show. This is like the first time I've ever heard you get hiccups on a broadcast, and you had it 3 times in one night.
I'm holding my breath right now.
Well, Tanner, he still wants these kills. So I think the window has disappeared for you to get them. You know Sai's going to have shield. He's going to have Guardian Ward up again. There's no backup. There's even an owl coming through at Avido to help give some protection. Expecting him to be in this position. Oh my god, he's been playing Flight Sim in his off time. No more Arc Raiders for him.
You know,
it's just going to continue to happen on this right hand side. They want this Guardian. They want this flex slot unlocked, and they've not necessarily overcommitted, but they've committed a lot of players here to make it happen.
I mean, it's practically an all-in. The only person not there is Ivy and melee creeps. Okay, even if you give up the Guardian here, you know, if you get a kill or two after, you're starting to get in the room where you're close up the middle. You know, you start wondering, hey, we're so far out of the game, go mid boss, but doesn't quite pan out into extra kills. But Bunny with Clock in a really rough position. I'm gonna try and fix this, I swear.
DMB up against Pashi Pop on this left-hand side. There's a lot of farm to be taken for DMB to deny away. He's only at 11,000 souls. This has probably been quote unquote one of the worst games for DMB. Normally he's fed a lot of souls, but it's been heavily invested into John so far, and for good reason, obviously. I think this next urn is gonna be a really telling sign as well. Like Bunny with Hick.
Bunny with hiccups. Yep.
No, say it right.
Bunny. Oh, okay. I thought you were just reading chat. I didn't realize production came in here, buddy. Hick. You know, honestly, well deserved. But yeah, I mean, the John problem is going to be horrendous for Bunny with Clock as things go on here. I mean, the end game win condition is set for melee creeps. They're running a comp that's doing way better soul allocation, even if DMB is the one biting the bullet. And yeah, I mean, okay, Pashi Pop is farmed, but you put Pashi Pop versus John, Holiday scale is even better than Ivy does right now.
Yeah. I mean, at least he's getting a lot of farm, but yeah. One lasso is all it takes. One captivating read, one shoulder charge. There's really not that much cash besides the chain gain. The pedestal swap as Owl comes through looking to open up an opportunity onto Tanner. He doesn't eat the damage from the Owl, but he's eating more enough damage from Fishcake, who just turns his sights over towards Gibbs, saying, hey, you're interrupting my kill, then I'll kill you instead. He's going to back away. The great captivating read out of side to give him the space, but he's still taking a lot of damage from Nox Nostra from behind. And the chase isn't done just yet. Arctic wants this kill, and you know what? He might have it, but the thing is, they're going to lose this left lane walker.
It comes at a cost, and Scout right now, again, into the back line, looking for Ivy, the richest member of Bunny O'Clock's team, and is immediately taken on down, the walker following thereafter. And melee creeps are just in the cycle now, Jason, where they're getting good trade after good trade. And now maybe you get the page as a consolation prize, but look at the movement as Saya. Still not enough to get away, but I think that was a rake that got Page mid-jump there.
Oh, this is interesting. So Gibbs is trying to run the urn across. DMB and Scout are there to prevent the turn-in. I think if you're the bunnies, you got to reinforce this turn-in. You can't expect to get it for free right now, knowing you've already lost that left lane walker. It also alleviates the pressure on the right lane walker for melee creeps to not have to worry about it, which allows them now to send over Fishcake and John here to defend and allow Ido just to keep free farming. He has the global participation of that owl when he needs it. Oh man, Scout, you know, sneaky beaky. Like, you can see how careful Bunny with Clock are being here, and they don't know that Scout's right behind them, and the charge from behind catches him out, and the urn's gonna get turned in.
Actually hilarious. In this case, Scout was just out for kills, not so much trying to deny the urn, and okay, needed a little bit of backup there. You may be ahead, but not so far ahead in this instance that you can just roll through, especially when you look at where you're ahead from. A lot of it is just more heavily based on John, DMB, and Fishcake. You know, Scout being out there at 15k, I mean, Bunny with Clock for the most part is all at 15k, so, you know, you're not exactly a server admin Abrams in that situation.
And the lead that melee creeps had is kind of fallen now with that earn turn in with the kill on the scout. I mean, they're behind 2 walkers. They're only down 4,000 souls. Bunny Clock actually doing a phenomenal job of keeping this close. That still technically they're not really that far behind. I think the only disappointing part for them is the fact that Poshipop has the majority of their souls. I mean, Aiden is not much of a destroyer right now, only at 14,000.
I mean, look,
You need a lot of time to catch up.
You got the entire, like, dog cowering versus dog furious meme with Aiden. It's like Aiden on Vindicta, then, Aiden on Mina from what we've seen tonight.
Yeah, very true.
Again, the problem I have here with Bunny with Clock's composition is that it wasn't a composition that was going to win laning phase, and clearly it did not. But it's also, you look at here, Jason, it's not a comp that wins late. Like, it absolutely doesn't win late. In fact, they get weaker and weaker as time goes on. DMB, while he hasn't bought yet, is going to be a capacitor carrier later on. That's going to give Gibbs like even less opportunities to have effective play because Cube just gets completely ruined. And you have to deal with the end game gun holiday, which is pretty much game over once John gets to like 35k, if it's especially ahead of the game.
Not to mention, you still have to deal with Ido getting people extremely low with these power shots. He already has a good amount of damage. Surge of power, rapid recharge. He's got his power shot maxed out as well. Saving for his max level owl here in a few seconds once he gets his next boon. At least you have the... I was gonna say like a decent amount of tankiness, but you really don't. It's just really Tanner to be the front line for your team. I mean, Gibbs is... I imagine he's gonna be fed over a farm to be getting beefy. And as you mentioned before, the capacitor gonna stop this cube. It throws down and maybe depends on the Poshipop. He's still farming 26,000 souls, man. He's getting very far ahead, but is he gonna have the impact in these fights? I think they're gonna need to use him soon if they want to have a chance.
Oh, DMB is getting the treatment right though. Chain gang into Goo Ball, into someone that's still gonna get away. Like it looked furious, but the actual impact was Infernus that gets away with half his HP remaining, and instead an owl heading their way. Fish cake now on the jump in. Owl still in the air, hunting, looking. It's gone. But now the full fight is taking place a little bit on the rooftop as melee creeps fully rotating to the left. Well, I say melee creeps fully rotating. John is on a suicide mission, the middle walker. He is chunking the middle walker. And also using the high ground may not be a suicide mission after all. Could use a train here, Jason, to get like half HP off the mid walker, get away, and still get a little bit of creeps on the way out.
Yeah, for sure. And even these Guardians are taking a lot of damage at the base. They're forcing Art to go back and deal with this one. Both of them pretty much at half HP or lower. A lot of like free damage being done for Bunny with Clock without really losing anything.
Capacitor just came online, which again is going to be making Gibbs's life all the more miserable.
Speaking of miserable, more sinners being taken. I really wish we knew a modder out there that we could talk to about modding in the golden statue buffs, just to know how much extra percent of everything everyone has. And I would also like to see like a counter of how many sinners have been taken by one team compared to another at this point.
Team fight underway. Bunny with Clock all grouped together looking for anything here. They're looking for Scout, who has to use Seismic Slam to escape, and it's not quite the escape he was looking for. One pick off, and okay, they're just going mid. Honestly, a Hail Mary here, is it likely to work right now, Jason? No. Do I think they need to go for it while up one? Yes, because the way this game is going, they need to take a risk here. They have the ability to disrupt with Viscous. However, the leap in is coming here from melee creeps. Melee creeps in on the full contest. John has finally arrived. And Bunny with Clock, they're trying to just, in the rotation here, get one. They get Ido. I mean, this is scrappy enough, Jason. It could work.
When John's here, he's not being pressured. Fishkick goes down as well, so they turn the 1 kill into 2 more. I mean, base guardians are still being hammered by these minis, though, so something I have to really pay attention to. They might lose the right lane base guardians. The mid boss will be destroyed. Chain gang's not up. DMB's gonna have to back away. I mean, you pretty much just don't want to die right now. You have to get this one over for free, but here comes Scout. A little bit too late, as all the crystals have been taken, and he's gonna be the one to pay the price. So a really good turnaround here for Bunny with Clock.
The timing there is actually almost inexcusable. I think the read was clearly a bit wrong, and as a result, I mean, Scout gives up his life for nothing. And Bunny with Clock, they're absolutely going to even things up this game, likely getting one, if not two walkers off the rejuve. The late game still isn't good for them, Jason, but that was a play they needed to make to stay in the game.
But the thing is, even with that play, Bunny with Clock lost mid lane Walker. They lost left and right lane base guardians. They lost a lot around the map, to be fair, and the way they have not been monitoring these waves of minions has really punished them. I mean, they lost 75% HP from the right lane guardians. They lost 100% HP from the left lane guardians. A little bit of a like macro misplay. Yes, they get the Walker, and I agree, it was a Hail Mary play coming through, and it works out so far. They need to turn this into so much more, as captivating read will catch out on the cool cheese.
Melee creeps, I mean, they're dancing a delicate line right now. They'd love to get a rejuve out, but also if you fight too openly, you're just going to lose. They can't contest the urn. So Bunny with Clock is going to go ahead on the overall aggregate. But now if you're Arctic, real close to having Traveler, going to need a Traveler into the main fight here. Still waiting for it to come up. John also very low if you could get anyone onto that. But instead, it's going to be a rotation here onto the right Walker. And, you know, melee creeps still all three Walkers alive. Maybe they give up right. I think you look at this here, Jason, give up right, defend the next two. But they want to get their pound of flesh from the right if they can.
I mean, if you can take even just one of the crystals without losing anyone, that'd be such a worth it play to make. John also has Lucky Shot now after the push of mid lane Walker and the right lane base guardians. He had over 6.4k to spend, and he's become a massive threat now, and he's in the fight in towards middle. This actually could be a fight that they could win. They could get some crystals for sure off of this one. Still a minute, or pretty much 2 minutes of time left to go on it. And the goo ball is not necessarily the most ideal target, but they have the support to keep John alive, and John's just really going to start putting the pressure on. You see Posture down below half HP.
This is where you need some of the John cam to just see the power of Gun Holiday here of like, oh, people have vaguely entered into my lane. You know, let me show you what happens when I hit 3 shots effectively. So, Bunny with Clock, I mean, you have 2 full HP walkers left. I don't know if you're going to get that much out of the rest of this rejuve, barring a mistake from melee creep. So, again, the mid-boss works out well. I mean, it's a really well shot-called play that turns a small advantage into a bigger advantage into mid-boss. But the general dynamics of the game are still really working against them, Jason.
Yeah, and I was just taking a look at the minimap. I mean, Ido, he's keeping lane shoved with his owl just to make sure it's really hard to manage your waves with Bunny with Clock. Pashpa picks up plated armors on top of this to deal with John. Amount of brunt damage he's going to have to face. We do see the group come through. The rejuve has 40 seconds left. Changing has been used. Going to catch on to Ido. Going to catch on to Sai as well. Pulls them forward. Ido's going to have that back up there to escape. But again, they're not really looking for a fight here for Bunny with Clock. They're looking for the Walker. And they get it. Continue to build up this lead up to 13,000 souls now. Majestic Leaping build. I didn't notice that Tanner had that. I don't think I've ever seen a Billy build Majestic Leap.
Yeah, I mean, it's clearly just based around trying to get chain gang value. You touch someone for half a second and maybe it'll break on LOS, maybe it won't. Oftentimes it does not. And chain gang, one of the buggier abilities in the game, all in all. But melee creep's able to get the urn here. And this is actually kind of tragic for Bunny with Clock if they're not able to defend this urn. Because it's going to put melee creeps back up to even, and it's going to, you know, essentially, okay, you got 2 walkers, but now you're still in absolutely awful spot. So somehow, some way, Bunny with Clock needs to generate a pickoff here, and you got to be looking to Cool Cheese to help make this happen.
Oh, there you go. As you just talk about him, his ears must have been burning. Gets a swap on a DMB, but there's no backup there. There's nothing else to lock down DMB, and he just easily escapes with the help of a flame dash. Though Gibbs might be catching out onto Saya. No, it's just the minimap line. I mean, Saya was above him.
Giving up swap for nothing there, just it's not it in this situation. But okay, urn is dislodged. It is not turned in just yet, courtesy of Puddle Punch. Gibbs with the urn control. However, Aiden just gets chunked. That had to be courtesy of Ido. throwing out the shots, either Ido or John. The long range power is unreal. Ido over the top, 1 power shot, 2 power shot, nearly takes down Arctic. The long range poke is brutal, but the fall through a little bit good. John gets caught in the crossfire. Scout 2, Bunny with Clock still a full 6. They may be weakened, but everyone is still alive. And Ida back into the fight, looking for a little bit more. This time fish kick on the menu, soon to get rakes perhaps, but no, Ido takes down Ida before the rake happens. Both teams trading out. Bunny with Clock though, still a little bit healthier. Here's Gibbs here on the flank, looking for Infernus chasing down, gonna be wasting a lot of time off the cube while the page shield ticks down. Gibbs working on the outskirts, taking a lot of time, lands a shot here onto DMB, still taking the fight, 50 HP, burns down, can't quite finish it before DMB gets the burn.
Well, that's gonna be another urn turned into here for Bunny with the Clock. 26,000 souls now in the lead as they're actually knocking on the front door, taking down the base Guardians. Rejuve is no longer there, and they have a minute left till the mid boss respawns back in. And for me, you take the shrines, you take the stage 1 patron, and you back away, and you get ready for this next mid boss, which could be Bunny with Clock taking the series and taking the throne here in the Deadlock night shift. I look at that play though. I think there had been some miscommunication between Ido and Fishcake because they were fighting in positions that like Ido couldn't help Fishcake. Like he couldn't hit these shots from the position that Arctic was like, you know, kiting for. And he kited long enough that Ido was able to come in from the side and eventually from base with health to fight.
This is a huge position now. Bunny with Clock in a spot where they, oh no, Arctic gets caught. Lasso in. Now John going for the shrines, and this could be Patron at this point. I mean, Melee Creeps taking advantage here. They have way more gun damage on the team. I mean, you take a look at what John's doing, just absolutely crunching through. Second stage Patron's going down, and okay, I think you have to get out here. I don't think you can all in at this point, but now you've set it to where one good team fight and you win the game. And also, I mean, that evens up souls a bit. And it kind of gets to what I was saying is that, you know, some people might be looking at the aggregate of this game and going, Bunny with Clock is a good spot. The scaling of Melee Creeps is way better, and mid boss is up here. Bunny with Clock, they have limited time here, Jason, to come on in and contest the fate of the NA Championship here at stake. And you got Fishcake here, Shadow Transformation, looking to go in on the Crystal, into the Page Hall. So far, parries are in. No rejuves been claimed. Fishcake, though, finally grabs it. All rejuves going the way of Melee Creeps. And Melee Creeps contesting through Bunny with Clock, another 3 down. And Jason, Melee Creeps pull themselves out of the 30K deficit at the very end.
I mean, the stage where Patron's already been killed. You can just rush the base right now. You got to get some waves shoved up, and you're going to be more than home free to get yourself another 1,250 bucks just about in your pocket. They get the kills on top of this to be a cherry on top as RT's going to fall, and there's no one here to stop him. Poshpop and Gibbs 2v6. You might as well just try to push the base and just try to backdoor it. If anything, maybe that's why they're sending Saya back to help defend, keeping the wave off the left lane Guardians.
Yep.
The backdoor protection's there, and really, like, yeah, Fishky, you can hit this all day. You're not going to kill it.
Wave those pushing up here for Melee Creeps. It should be a bit of a victory lap. And yeah, I mean, Saya's a sacrifice. Saya's quite literally just stay on the wave here, waste some of Pashi's time because we will go forward and finish off the Patron. And Bunny with Clock, I mean,
Gibbs, he bought a lot of time. He took out the wave. He cut it out to prevent them from getting it there in time. But it's gonna
you got Holiday. Look at the Patron, Jason. It's over.
Yeah.
Melee Creeps defend the throne. But you can't say Bunny with Clock did not make it close. But in the end, Jason, draft-wise, I feel like Bunny with Clock put themselves on hard mode, and Melee Creeps from the draft gave themselves every tool to win, even though the execution, frankly, was a bit lacking in this game.
It's just the gun Holiday. Like John just inevitably hit this point where nothing could stand against him, even the base. He was able to take down in just a few shots. I was looking at Gibbs at the very end. He did such a great job of trying to cut the wave out, trying to stall to buy time for respawns to come through. You saw Fishcake trying to hit that patron with backdoor protection, and there's nothing he could do. But eventually the minions got in the range for him to quickly close it out. Obviously with John going to be there, but I do like the little play, the little split-second call of sending Saya back to stop Poshipop so you can't just cleanly push into the base if they got halted on that eventual push. And as you mentioned, the draft just a little bit too good here for Melee Creeps, even though the souls, they were down for a majority of the game, it felt like. But honestly, Bunny with Clock, I mean, even though they lost this series, they looked much better this week than last.
Yeah, I mean, this is a team that is leveling up before our eyes, and honestly, a better draft here, something that plays a little bit more to their strengths and maybe denies a little bit of the things that Melee Creeps was looking for here. And we could have had a new champion this week. Bunny with Clock looked with a comp that on face level should not have been able to compete at that point. Like they were just absolutely outclassed in general hero power, and through some really gutsy shot calling and outmaneuvering, they were able to generate a mid boss for themselves effectively out of midair. And even though it slipped away, if you can make those sorts of shot calls and plays, it's not if you eventually win, it is when.
Yeah, it is definitely when. And I think when we see a little bit more depth in pool from a couple of players on Bunny with the Clock as well, I think there's definitely good opportunity for them to become a dominating force in North America. I mean, they pushed Melee Creeps extremely far in this one. They lost very easily in the first match, but to bounce back in match 2 and to take it to a 3 was no easy feat by any team out there. And I think they showed that they can really compete when it comes to laning phase. But I want to see more success when Aiden's not on Vindicta, and I want to see a little bit more, I don't know, like individual prep when it comes to him on playing a couple more heroes. We could have a similar level of impact, though. Vindicta is a little bit special when it comes to that, right? The fact you can snowball with your max level assassinate. But I want to see him have that same level of impact on someone else. And I don't know who it's going to be, but hopefully we continue to see them in the next weeks here in the night shift.
Yeah, and again, I think we've seen this before, and oddly enough, I feel like when I take a look at the Bunny with Clock team, it reminds me of the old Melee Creeps before Melee Creeps was on top. Like, it's the same sort of energy I'm getting right now, Jason.
I mean, it's Cool Cheese's Posture Pop. Those were two of the original members of Melee Creeps when they rose through the ranks over in North America with the Fight Night. They eventually being one of the first teams to take down Hydra Nation back then. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely some signs. Again, I think you give them a couple more weeks. If they can keep improving like this, they are going to be one of the best teams in North America. And I think Sneaky Golem, they're going to have a tough time up against them. I think Melee Creeps are going to continue to have a tough time against them if we get to that point. But either way, we can see the history of the last 15 night shifts we had. I can't believe we're on 15 already, ZP. It feels like just yesterday we started up night shift, and Melee Creeps have won the last 4 weeks in a row.
I mean, think about how much has changed. You know, back in night shift number 1, Hydra Nation was still alive. Buff Enjoyers were still alive. You know,
who is that team? I can't even remember now. Hydra Nation up against who? I don't remember what logo that is.
PKP.
PKP. Okay.
Yep. And that was
that
like
little troops.
Yep, those little troops. They tried to give us an AI logo, and instead we gave them the trooper.
And the Unks in there, man. A lot of history. I almost wish we could pull up like the Fight Night history too somehow, and then see, because we had like 30 something episodes of that, to see if we could remember all the logos of all the teams we had. But I mean, really crazy the fact that it's been 4 weeks in a row, and the week they lost in week 11, I think, was right after the Trolley Open, when they just won the Trolley Open, and then it went on to lose 2 days later to Sneaky Golem in night shift.
Yeah, that was the big, where basically Melee Creeps won Trolley with Bebop, and then basically Sneaky Golem comes in the next night shift and says, we're banning Bebop first. Like, absolutely screw you, John. You don't get to play what you want to play. And it went from there.
Yeah, do we have I guess an MVP? Oh, we do have it. The Fight Night history. Oh my god. Oh, my, Bottom Barrel, Llama Lords, Big and Brawlic, TF2 Boomers.
You know,
and then a different kind of Hydra Nation, Valhalla in there.
I'm really not trying to shoot 2 base strays of TF2 Boomers, but I swear to God, for the amount of times we had them involved here, the fact that they only got to the money match once, like, come on.
Bro, they're the fearless furies of North America, okay?
That's something. Also, the inaugural, I said 3-0s. We didn't start out with a challenger match. We started out with like just a BO5 in each region. It was Hydra Nation versus Cat Girl, or Naked Cat Girls and Friends.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
That was over a year ago now.
Crazy. That was when Hydra Nation just became Hydra Nation, because they gutted another team before. Who were they before Hydra Nation?
No, they were Hydra Nation the entire time.
No. They were
there's other teams that they took players from, but they were always like Hydra Nation.
No. Mahjong and Krill wasn't that what their name was before?
Oh,
they became
yeah,
Hydra
okay.
Nation?
So you're talking about like the proto thing where you had like Cool Mad and Buds on the team. I think was a thing, and then like that was actually going to be the team, and then they like shifted last moment to Hydra Nation.
Good times. Yeah, Mahjong and Krill, Downtown Showdown North America #2. And they played with Leffa, Hydration, Rocker were 3 of the players, and then a couple of other players. That's crazy,
also
man.
Flick. Flick was around.
Well, I see Sam CH and I see Sharky and Hawk on Mahjong and Krill.
Also, we got some stats here.
Yeah, we got some stuff.
I'd like to. Can we talk about objective damage? Like, why is a 6-shooter the most destructive thing to buildings in the entire game right now? Like, look at John's objective damage. Like,
Lucky Shot, Hollow Point, Glass Cannon. I think it makes anyone's shooter, even if it's a P shooter, do quite a bit of damage.
Well, to be clear, there is like scaling wise, I think it's something along the lines of like Warden at Max Boon right now gets like 89% scaling, and Holiday gets like 189% scaling. So, like Holiday's endgame scaling with Gun Eye is just like, oh.
So what I'm hearing is nerf Lash.
Yes.
Okay.
And also probably McGinnis. Like, you can't risk McGinnis ever being played.
No. We don't need her to get into meta for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, hearing Soren talk about how he one tricks McGinnis, that was really funny on the night shift or the graveyard shift on Monday. If you guys missed out on that one, but yeah, I mean, obviously, Melee Creeps come out with a victory. But who was our MVP, ZP?
You know, for me, I like Saya as MVP here. I think Saya was incredibly good in terms of the support play today across the board. Really, everything we saw Melee Creeps in, and yeah, I mean, look. You cannot deny the effectiveness of Paige right now. You can say, it's the hero, it's a player. Overall, things don't go as well for Melee Creeps without Saya just being a complete pain all day long today, whether it be on the Doorman or on the Page. It made everyone else shine. This is tragic.
Yeah, it's funny though. If you think it back to how Game 3 started, it felt like it was just Saya dominating the lane. He kept Arctic pushed back. He kept Gibbs pushed back constantly in the lane that didn't allow them to really interact with the lane at all early in the game.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just thinking about the game too. By the way, I saw a little bit as the game ended. Like, I scrolled up here, I was just like, oh man, Caster's so biased. Like, Bunny with Clock is up 20k souls. Like, guys, have you looked at the team comp that Melee Creeps has? Like, some team comps, they just win. Like, it's not all about that. It's like, I look at this like, yeah, that's a Holiday that's like really, really far. And there's like, there's nothing like that on the other team. It's why, like, Bunny with Clock did have like this narrow window to win with a 30k lead if they didn't make any mistakes there and out. But the scaling of the game, Jason, just eventually caught up to them in the most brutal of ways.
Okay, well, that does allow us to put a bow on the final series of the night, but not ending off things before we take a look at our pick priority in the night shift number 15. And what was highly valued? Probably Holiday going to be up there. Shiv, Kelvin, Holiday, Infernus, Paradox, and Yamato all make it into every single match of the night.
No surprises. Right now, I'm looking more for who was lower that you wouldn't expect to be as low. And frankly, the biggest surprise of the night was that Paige was down at 3 when Paige was at, I think, max picks last week. So Paige weirdly got underpicked this week. And then everything else, I mean, Pocket, I think, was actually a little bit up from where he was before. Thank you, Cosmetical. Vindicta was up. Bebop, maybe a little bit lower, but still pretty highly represented. Actually, the other big winner in recent times, Sinclair. Like, Sinclair was at 0 picks for many weeks, Jason, and now is back to being a pretty valued pick, at least in the EU.
Yeah, I remember it was Hoot brought it out and Listic brought it out over in the EU portion of the show where they played up against Abrahams. I think the real winner though of this week with their hero prio, it had to be Lash and Viper. I don't know how quick Solomon's going to be on the turn on that one, but definitely the win in my book. Definitely had probably more appearances in Night Shift this week than in any other week combined. I don't think we're going to see in time. It's fine. If you guys were there, you know what happened. I'm sure you'll see it in our carousel later on. But
it's a week that Lash will remember for the next 18 years, man. You know, that's all you got to know.
Oh my God, yeah, we won't be able to forget it for the next 18 years. So he'll be paying for that one way or another. I think everything else is pretty kind of standard. It's kind of crazy to see the fall of Victor, considering he was picked or banned pretty much every single game for, I want to say like 2 to 3 weeks. And now we see only 2 picks coming through, no bans being targeted at him. But I mean, we're still seeing every week in and week out the same heroes at the top of the table, whether it comes to bans, whether it comes to first picks, or just picks in general. I mean, Paradox, 7 first picks out of 8. And then Calvin was first picked every time, but that's expected.
I think we've finally hit the point where there are some changes week to week, but we have sort of figured out this iteration of the game. We are due a patch, like hopefully sooner rather than later, because look, honestly, the biggest thing when I look at that too is Shiv. Like, as much as like Kelvin has been put up to be the devil of Deadlock, it's actually Shiv right now. Like, you cannot give up Shiv. Shiv is that good, and probably arguably the most in need of a nerf. I mean, you got Shiv up there, you got Holiday up there, but Shiv in particular has just been the guy. And his win rate also backs up, where he was either our highest win rate over the last few weeks or like, you know, number 2 or number 3. His win rate is really up there for when he did get through.
He is him. He's the devil of Deadlock when it comes to heroes. But ZP, what's the devil of Deadlock when it comes to items? Let's take a look here at our most bought items this week in the night shift as well. And I would imagine Spirit Shielding still going to be probably quite up there. And you can see 6.4. So actually was bought a little bit more compared to last week, but Reactive Barrier is up a little bit as well. Battle Vest getting some extra, and even Debuff Remover being picked up quite a bit more than previous. This is per game. So if you imagine we had 8 games, total amount of times we saw it bought divided by 8, and that gives you how often it was bought. So by half the team, pretty much, by a full team, 6 out of the 12 for Spirit Shielding every game.
I mean, Spirit Shielding, it's really, really good in the laning phase, which is the one part of the game that you really don't want it to go against you. And it even has like ridiculous synergy with heroes like Mina, where, oh, your HP is on the lower end, while Spirit Shielding and the way it scales, like, gives you a very significant amount of bonus HP, especially when you think about Meat in his playstyle, who wants to be hit and run. Like, you get the shield at the exact right time to go in, land a rake, and not die for it. And overall, the item is probably a little too good right now. Reactive, I mean, probably the same. I mean, especially given there's so many matchups where throwing in reactive is generally a good idea. I have less hate towards like Battle Vest, where, I mean, already you're like way down the proud chart relative to Spirit Shielding. And Battle Vest is more just like, okay, you have a stat stick, you need a little bit of HP and some gun damage. You know, throwing Battle Vest is where that's at.
Kind of crazy though that out of all 8 games, half the players bought Spirit Shielding.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it kind of makes sense, right? Because Spirit damage is very, very high in the like early to mid game, and that's where most of the momentum is taking place, is that point. So it makes sense, but kind of crazy to see that we have one item being kind of the end all be all for most players if you want to get some early Spirit or resist mixed into here. But I think ZP, that's going to pretty much end out our night shift number 15. But we do have an update about the graveyard shift if we want to tell the audience.
Yeah, the update is that if we did the graveyard shift tonight, it would just be me, and I'm also on my last win. We went the distance here today. So the graveyard shift is going to be on Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern is when we're going to be doing it. Of course, if you are a sub, if you're a Patreon, if you're a YouTube member, all those different ways you get access to it when it goes live. We're going to be talking with Wick about, you know, basically the grind up here as Deadlock as a, you know, player looking to make it, you know, from Boston Tea Party. Thank you, Wick, for being gracious and moving that over the Friday, so you're not just dealing with a solo interview ZP who's very on the tired side. So yeah, it'll be a good time, and it'll be on Friday this week.
Yeah, heaven forbid it's like 5 a.m. your time or something. But, you know, I'm going to talk to the other talent. We're going to make sure you do it solo anyways. We're going to all be busy at that time and just make you do it in the end.
We need to make Dan do it solo, man. Like, Dan has not been on as many graveyard shifts lately. Like, just, you know, get Dan to be like, Dan, you solo the graveyard shift this week.
No, let's put Puckett on it. Solo Puckett show?
True.
It has some potential. I think actually, for the sake of keeping us around and making sure we do more shows in the future, maybe we shouldn't do that. But once again, a big shout out to all of you who are watching the show. A big shout out to everyone who donated as well towards the prize pool, or all of those who did sub over on Twitch or did become members on YouTube. A big thank you to our production team. We've been lovely adapting to the show every weekend and week out, adding some new little bells and whistles to make sure you guys at home can enjoy it. That's going to wrap up another week of the night shift. We'll see you next week on Wednesday for night shift number 16.
is under attack. Stopping time.